Page of the day, dude.
That's what
Oh, okay, nice.
not the light hit right. That's what Gabriel was telling me. He's like, you look
Yeah.
uh why is my thing doing this? This is absurd. I don't like this. Oh, is it just an interface glitch? Okay, got it. But yeah, we're live now. But no, I
Sweet.
was gonna say when it comes to like veterans, there's always like a like you understand when you meet someone that's a veteran, like, oh, I can just um say anything to this person and we're probably gonna be fine. It's just like
You're like, no topic is probably taboo. This guy's heard it all.
hmm
Nothing
yeah.
will be too shocking or outrageous.
Yeah.
Although that gets too far. There was a time when I was a butcher at Publix. There was a guy. He came in wearing a what unit was The Walking Dead? Was it like 2-7 or something like that, or 2-8?
It was something. I think it was an eighth reg unit.
Because it got
I'm not all too.
discontinued when we were in. Because Mike Mahanes used to be in The Walking Dead. But anyway, the Walking Dead is a
One
famous
nine.
1-9. Okay, so Ninth Marines. So 1-9 is a Marine unit that had the nickname The Walking Dead because they had such a high casualty rating in Vietnam. And so this guy's
Wow.
walking around at Publix. It's like a. Do you know what Publix is, Angelo, or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Okay.
a grocery store in Florida, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah, I've been there.
so I'm there, and this guy's wearing the Walking Dead hat with a purple heart on it, and I'm just like, oh, Semper Fi, thank you for your service. He's like, oh, are
Yeah.
you a jarhead? And I'm like, yeah, I was in, and then he's like, a lot of people talk about how like angry or regret their actions, but I love what I did over there. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he started saying all these racial slurs about Asians that I'm not going to repeat right now, but
Oh, so
I'm sure you can imagine. And then
Yeah.
oh
then he
yeah.
started going
He
on a
was
rant about like 9/11, and I was like, dude, this guy has been waiting to see me, and like I do just like look racist. I don't know what it is. Like a lot of people just meet me and they're like, "Oh, I can trust this man. I'm gonna say some slurs." Like there the time there has to be a time to N-word ratio for me, and it's quick, dude. Depending on like, there's a lot of people that meet me and they're like immediately like, I could start dropping N-bombs around this dude. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's because I say them all the time first, but
Right. You don't
yeah,
do a lot to,
yeah.
dissuade the
hmm
conception.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's just funny to me. It's just like, oh, okay. It's just really, really. I mean, what's really funny to me is like, even the people that get to know me that have no, because I do tend to have more, I guess, like socially liberal. I guess I would be considered like a capital L liberal. Um, they
what
it's
do you
like
mean by that?
okay, so in the American sense, like liberal just means like left wing, right? But like
Yeah.
that's not generally how it's used everywhere else. Liberal will tend to, a few things come with liberal. It means that they're usually capitalist, believe in like individual rights, have a strong value for um, limited government, but like still like a role. Um, yeah, like the state is still important, but like of course, so like the founding fathers were that capital L liberal, the Enlightenment period. That's where that comes from. So depending on who you're talking to, when they say liberal, it can mean a completely different thing. So when someone on the left says liberal, they're using it as like they say the Nazis are liberal, and then when someone on the right says liberal, they mean like communists. And so it's like,
Yeah, because when I hear liberal, it's funny that you said it like that because I'm like, oh, that's me. When I hear liberal, because of the way it's been twisted, I assume socialist,
right? I mean, yeah,
or
yeah,
communist. Yeah, that's what the media purports liberals as being,
right,
not anything like what you described.
and that's why I always say like capital L level, because I mean there's a once we start streaming, so after the Twitch and like YouTube don't give notifications out right away, so in like 10-20 minutes we'll start getting the regulars in here. A lot of these people would call, like, these people usually are far more left wing than me. They call me liberal as something that's right wing. It's like a So when I say capital L liberal, that's what I'm trying to like to make that difference. Is like, okay, like this is
Capital L, like yeah, like I get
um
you.
but what I was saying was funny is like when people get to know me, because like I don't think I'm that racist. But it's people that are like, so there's one guy I know that is like pretty far, like pretty racist. But he's my friend. And last night he texted me. He was like, "Hey, do you want to be my in my one of my groomsmen for my wedding?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." But it's like to me, it's like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I always think it's just like when it comes to race, it's like a stupid thing. But then again, like it's hard to cut people off just because you disagree with them politically, even though like I'll think some of these things are completely vile. And that's been like a hard thing for me recently, is like with a lot of stuff going on, like cutting people off or not, you know, especially like family or friends, like that's really hard. And unfortunately, like I just think people don't care about a
Are
lot
you
of stuff.
saying you've had a yeah, yeah, I can agree there. I'm guilty of that. When
Mm.
you say that, like cutting off ties, do you mean like because of your differences of opinions? Is it that their opinions are that strong that they want to cut ties with you, or you feel like the way this person is thinking, like I just can't be around this person because we can't have a conversation about this important topic or something like that. What do you?
So that's a good distinction to make. I will never not befriend someone because of their political views. Um, I have friends that are straight up just communists, socialists, and no one hates communists more than me. I have friends that are probably they think Hitler's a pretty cool guy, So it's like,
That
but for
Hitler
me, the
guy.
one thing I hate, the one thing I will not like that will make me not want to be a friend with you is if you're hiding your political views and
Mm,
you hold them very strong, and it's like you're hiding them. Like if you want to argue about it all day, like I would love that.
yeah,
But it's like when I know that you're like avoiding topics or situations, but just because I disagree with you, like that's what I can't stand.
I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe they're just trying to be nice too. Maybe they're just trying to avoid uh arguments.
I don't think it's that though.
Right.
I think well, there's that where it's like people are more timid, but then you'll see like other social media where they're very much the opposite. Also, your camera's frozen.
Yeah.
And it's
Mine
like, yeah, yeah,
is it back?
Yeah, it's
no.
moving fine for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
maybe it's me. Let me leave and rejoin.
All right.
Okay, hold up. Let me just hide this just in case. Just in case I don't want to like accidentally. Okay. Can you say something, Lewis? Oh, there you go.
Yo.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Right now my camera's off. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wait a second. Now that's being weird. Okay. What is going on here? Wow, what the heck?
What the heck?
Ah, that's. Oh, okay. Wrong one. It's because Christina joined, so it's all wacky. No, no, it's not because she joined. It's all wacky. It's all stuff on
Probably.
my end. No, don't leave. Okay, if you want to leave, I'll tell you when to leave. I'm just kidding. You're fine. All right, don't insult me. You're fine. And I'm sorry for insulting you. I don't mean to disrespect you in public. Only when no one else is watching will that be okay.
Right.
Right.
When we're behind closed doors.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Christina. I got nervous because I was messed up on my end, so I had to find a scapegoat, which is thankfully there was a woman here that I could blame.
Oh, I'm so happy to be that for you.
And there we go, like,
Yeah. Get right into it.
It's a wonder, like, when I introduced Christina to Troy, I was like, okay, I just want you to understand, he might say some weird stuff. You
You
might.
should give me enough warning though for some of the weird stuff that comes out of his mouth. But oh man,
It's really hard to understand you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm in the car. I'm just gonna mute. I'm gonna listen. I like listening to y'all.
Okay, thank you.
But the funny thing with like the race or the racist, not to jump back, but
Hmm.
in our we're doing a D&D campaign, and Troy's like, "Oh yeah, my character, is gonna be this, female Japanese samurai, and I've got
Mm.
this character story." And everyone's sitting there like, "Okay, well, what's the joke?"
Yeah, where's the punchline? Where's the
Like,
slur? Like there
you know,
wasn't one. I was just being
what does that
authentic.
name mean? What does it translate to in English?
Yeah, just like it's a hole I've dug myself.
Right, you've made the bed. Now you're
Yeah.
forced to lay it.
Hmm. Forced to pee in this bed. Well, no, because I think that like a lot of most people just don't care about like real people don't care about pretty much any humor as long as they know you're like a genuine dude, and you're not hateful or something. Now that does get me in trouble a lot. That mode of thinking, but I don't. There's not a great filter I have.
Yeah.
But I try. I try. Not really. I don't. It depends on the circumstance. Like at my son's school, I will always like when we walk up, I will always like I try my best to not even curse. To even when I'm talking to like another parent in private, just like when we're in
Yeah.
that environment, like I try to like separate that. But a lot of parents do that. I realize because we had a friend that she wanted to play D&D, and so we had him over at the house, and she comes over here and she starts mouthing off like a sailor, and I was like, oh, sick, okay, I'm not the only one like
Right.
that. But no, I mean, when it comes to a lot of like racism or sexism, the people that I see that are like that get the most offended at stuff that I do say is people that are neither that um and this is understandable too. And I'm not shitting on these people, but it's usually people that aren't that race or gender, right? Race or gender, because you do have to be careful when you say racial jokes or sexist jokes, because it's like you don't know who's listening and how they're listening. And I don't mean this like in a workplace protective way, but like let's say you and I are going back and forth, Velez, like we always did, and just talk shit to each other. And you know, I start saying stuff about I don't know, saying you look like a terrorist or you're Hispanic or something, and I'm gonna call ICE if you don't, stop talking
Yeah.
trash. There's people that'll hear that and they're like, that aren't thinking like, oh, it's funny because it's so absurd. They're thinking it's
Yeah.
funny because it's true, ha ha ha, and like we need to
Oh.
like, that believe that and like reinforcing those beliefs. And so like maybe that's why a lot of people that like think I'm racist. It's like,
Mm.
oh yeah, dude, this guy gets it. But then,
Yeah.
Right, like it feeds into their perception of the world,
mm-hmm,
and you're reinforcing it by
yeah,
because you're making this public joke that they would be too afraid to say,
and
like
they and
because of
again
their
and
true belief.
yeah, and they see people's reactions too, and they like, and I'm like, oh, that it is funny, and everyone's like, oh, this is okay to say, which is a lot of the times
Yeah.
it's okay to say because it isn't, because it's so absurd.
That you wouldn't imagine anyone saying it.
Yeah, like the other, so I did I've been doing Cub Scout stuff for my son,
Yeah.
and we were driving, and um, there was a woman there that she had her kids, and we know her, and she was putting her kid in the car, this little cute little boy, he's like not even a year old, and I rolled down the window. I'm like, oh, you little cutie, and before she could say anything, because obviously I'm talking about the baby. Before she even has a chance to react, I start yelling at her. And I was like, I'm talking to the baby. Stop getting excited or something like that. Like, just so stupid and absurd. And she immediately was like, fuck you, Troy. It's just, but it's like, but it's so like, it's funny to me because of how absurd it is. Like and my wife, she hates it a lot of the time. And she can sense it now because like when I'm saying something that I know is stupid or lying, my eyebrow twitches, and I can't. She's noticed this, So we just had a baby girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we were getting her vaccinations, and so we're in the indoctrination, not indoctrination. What is it called? Not. It's not a vaccination. What is it called? They used to do it to like the smallpox
Inoculation.
inoculation. I think it was called the inoculation office or something like that, right? And we're in there, and so the woman's like having us fill out paperwork, and I was like, and she's like saying like, okay, this is the schedule, this is what she's getting today, and I stop her. I'm like, hey, let's be honest here. How much autism is she getting from this? And the lady's just like,
Did you?
she just looks at me. She's like, none. And Jenny's just like, oh my god, like this idiot. And she's like, I saw your eyebrow moving, you fool. And she's like, I knew there was something stupid coming. I'm like, oh man. Which my eyebrow twitching, I didn't know this until she pointed it out that it happens when I lie. Because now she uses it for D&D. Like we'll be playing
Yeah.
D&D, and she'll be like, he's lying, his eyebrow's twitching. It's like, nah, I can't even hide this.
You're not allowed to play with me.
Yeah, like you have to sit on this side of the table so you can't see my left eyebrow. But yeah, no, it's good, man. Yeah, we've been playing a lot of D&D. I don't know if you've ever played, but
No, I never have, but like I'm not against it either.
yeah,
just
dude.
never-
Next time I run
yeah.
one, I'll send you an invite because I usually time it for people in the States. Even though
okay.
I live in Europe right now, so
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, cool.
yeah, been here for
Nice.
a while, and
Nice.
yeah, Jenny wants to stay, so we'll see.
Oh, tight. Yeah. Man, I love it. Like having my little slice out here in Texas, like I always dreamed of. But
Mhm.
I have me and the wife have talked about like going to other countries or something, in the future. Because my
Yeah.
kids are getting older, so it's like they pretty much self-manage,
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
And they some people feel like it's a lot, but I'm like I don't let it get to me. Like well, get to me. I say get to me because like nah, all my kids behave well now. My youngest, she used to be a little out of control, like myself. You know,
Mhm.
she was cut. She cut right from the cloth. She is a little me.
Yeah. Apple tree.
Yeah. But now, she's gonna be 14, and she's I'm learning to respect her strong opinions on things too, and the way she speaks is like she has strong opinions on even political things that
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, wow. And I respect it. And I'm like, okay, you're like she is a home person. I just wasn't expecting that at that age, when I was her age. I mean, I didn't care about nothing, Not I
Yeah.
was just thinking about toys and
Women.
watching my shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I started liking girls.
My bad.
That too.
Or
Right,
boys.
yeah, 14's when
girls.
you go and
Mm.
find your uncle's old dirty magazine and
Or in the woods, it's just like
this is so cool.
some porno fairy leaves some stuff in the
Well,
woods.
for us in New York, it was we were playing Manhunt, and some friends of mine decided to go hide in like this abandoned building, and they said it had stacks and stacks of like porn tapes and porn mags just in this boarded up apartment building.
Dude,
I was like,
there was in the 90s and early 2000s, there was just this
yeah, this is
collective group of homeless people that were like, we're going to leave this around for young boys to find across the globe. 'Cause that is such a
Doing our-
that is such
doing
a
our
like
part.
yeah, that is such like a universal experience for like men our age. Like, yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that. Find
Yeah.
something there,
Yeah.
Now it's all on the internet and crazy.
Right now it's at your fingertips.
But I can't relate to not being political at a young age because my father was like very involved in politics. He was very opinionated, and then he also ran the like a victims advocacy thing for like sexual assault victims. And so he did a lot of public stuff with that. And then I remember when the Tea Party movement started, going to all those rallies and stuff. Um, and he only took a step away from it because there was people, because my dad used to be a rifleman in the Marines. He took a step away from like going to all the rallies and stuff because people started like, hey, like we're training up a militia, we want you to like teach us some stuff. And he's like, okay, this is getting a little weird. But that was, jeez, 16 years ago. And it's crazy. Or no, that was 2008. So almost 18 years ago. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah. No, so I mean, yeah, I feel like another lifetime ago. But I mean, so I
Right.
at a young age like was very involved, and because my dad was, and so I know it rubs off because all I listen to is like political stuff, and it's like Troy started doing like his like Trump impersonations and stuff. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. But he calls it the presidential voice, and he just like he'll start doing it. It's like, oh no, I'm just like, because like I want him to come to his own opinions and stuff, but it's like it's impossible, right? As a parents, like you're especially at a young age, like they're going to glean so much off of you, and like I want to like emphasize this like free thinking and stuff like that, and like look stuff up, but it's like it is hard because I try to like keep some of that away from him. He's so young, but like him. He'll just be sitting there, is like, it's great, it's so great. He'll like do that, and it's like he started doing the hand stuff. Like he doesn't know what it is, except there was one time we were at a playground. We were sitting there. The night before, we're laying in bed, me and my wife, and I'm on the phone. And this was right when the current Iran conflict started, and I saw that the supreme leader had been killed. I was like, dang, like they've killed the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah. And that day, we're at the playground. My son's like, the president killed a guy. He's not a good person. And he's like, you kill someone, you're not a good person. I was like, well, all right, dude, chill. All right, you can kill people and be a good person. But it's like, okay, wait, what am I saying? It's like, all right.
Right. How do I explain this?
How do I explain geopolitics to a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Like he was watching me play Ghost of Tsushima. He's like, who are the bad guys in this story? I was like, well, everyone's a good guy in their own story. There's no, the samurai aren't good people. I mean, in this story, they seem like good people. He's like 4. He's like, what do you? Just play the damn game, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Just
go pet the cute dog. Mm-hmm. Do the cool sick combos and speak in your very funny Japanese accent, Dad.
If this were Minecraft, who would the creepers be?
Yeah, that's what he wants to know. There's like a whole creeper society. He's like burning down creeper orphanages, and he's like the Israel of Minecraft, and they're the Palestinians. They do blow themselves up, so there's that. But
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
which I don't think there's many suicide bombers out of like Hamas and stuff. They don't really. I mean, suicide bombing is like a thing of the past. We got drones now, so
Yeah. And it's funny what like kids take away from their parents, and the secondary and third tier effects of that. Like I didn't grow up very political, but my father had very strong opinions about sports teams, and I grew up hearing, oh yeah, the Yankees suck, they're a bunch of cheating bastards, and when I would try to sit and watch sports with him, he would be like, son, all you need to know is the Yankees suck and Jeter swallows. And I remember I got in trouble in school, and a phone call was made because they were, like, okay, yeah, well, who likes sports? In like the second or third grade, and what sports do you like? And I didn't, really like sports, but I was just like, all I know is the Yankees suck and Jeter swallows. And my dad immediate, like, when I got home, he was like, son, there's some things that you just don't say. Don't do as I say, not as I do.
Dude, that's why I'm so scared of like just the N word, like that being said on like YouTube videos or Instagram reels. It just pops up. I'm so afraid of
Yeah.
my son hearing it and repeating it. Like that is so scary to me. And it's like because that's dude.
My kids naturally, learn that it's not a good word to say,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's just not something I had to teach them. Sometimes,
But I mean, no, I'm just
kids
saying
just,
like how common it is like everywhere that it's
yeah.
so it's like dude, I just don't want to like even have to.
I don't understand it anymore. Like growing up, okay, I'm Puerto Rican, okay, and growing up as a Puerto Rican in New York, for
Wait, I
whatever
thought Puerto
reason,
Rico was in Mexico. It's in New York.
yeah, it's actually in New York. So
Okay.
growing up as a Puerto Rican in New York, we were allowed to say it. I mean, I have black people in my family, darker, whatever,
Hmm.
I have a daughter, black, right? We just said it, right? As I got older, I understood the whole thing around it, and I became an adult. I made the decision to say I'm not going to say this word anymore for several reasons. For one, it makes no goddamn sense to me why, if you're black, you can say it, but any other race can't use it because it's deemed as being used offensively.
Well, I only say it
That
when I
right there is
listen
to me.
to like Drake. It's just because I just really hate
Yeah,
Drake.
but it's just a weird, like, I don't even know what the word to use it. It's a weird, like, dual reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, so I say, you know what? I'm just not going to participate in any of it, in the behavior of it or anything around it. And so I just,
Hmm.
I don't know. I just moved away from that. I used to be
Yeah.
very big into like hip hop and all that stuff growing up in New York and all that stuff, right? And I
Yeah.
just kind of just moved away from that culture entirely,
Yeah.
because
Well, it is
I don't
funny to
know.
me because like being in the military and stuff, like and going around the world, you do meet all sorts of people. A lot of people from New York, and like everyone from New York, it's like that word it just rolls off the tongue for them,
Oh yeah, it
regardless of
really didn't.
like
Yeah,
race.
of race.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
so
like,
true.
but even then, people don't even like acknowledge it. Like I've seen it. Most people are just like, it's just that's who they are. It's just what they say, and it's not even like a race thing a lot of the time.
I think, yeah. I mean, and I understand. Say, just because you use that word doesn't make you racist, right? Like true racist, but just because you say certain things, I don't think makes you racist. A person who's like truly racist, um, it's gonna show, right, in really like meaningful ways that are like not meaningful like they're good, meaningful like they have a negative impact, right?
There's an
Like
objective to it.
yeah, there's an objective to their behavior,
Yeah.
and it's based on the race of another person. That
Well,
is when like that person's actually racist. They're looking at the race of someone as a deterrent to them, like
mhm,
interacting with them in any type of situation, right? Any type
Or
of
their
situation.
value as a human being.
Yeah,
They,
yeah, exactly.
they,
They're devaluing that person as a human being because of their race, and so they're not going to treat them like a human being.
mhm.
And I feel like those signs of that will bleed out. They'll show if you pay attention to it. I could be wrong, but and
Well,
I
no.
rarely have come across people like that.
What I was gonna say is like there. I feel like there's just different categories of like this thing because it's like you ever watch that Shane Gillis clip where he's like, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not racist." It's like, okay, like it's like, "Are you hungry?" It's like, "Yeah, not right now." But if,
right.
but if a
Yeah.
cheeseburger cuts me off in traffic, I'm gonna get real hungry. And it's like, yeah, I feel like there's this sort of like unrealistic expectation of just real people,
Yeah.
that dude
Yeah.
people and people hold prejudices that you wouldn't even understand unless you were in some of these groups. Like
What yeah.
so like for me, the biggest eye widening thing for me was like when it came to the most racist things I heard people say to black people came from other black people. There's like a whole schism on colorism within the black community of like light skin,
Oh
dark
yeah.
skin. And dude,
Yeah, yeah. Which is
I felt
mind blowing when you think about it.
yeah, dude, I remember just like
it's
being because I was in a black fraternity, and I'm like, this is nuts, dude. You know,
to
and
me it's like it almost seems like an what is that word? Like a fondness or a draw to like drama, because
well,
it's like
I think
okay, so like
everyone's just gonna. There's always
no,
an
I'm
out
saying
group.
like that. Yeah, you're gonna like have a subgroup within a group of people. It's like how like that's just I don't understand that at all.
Hmm.
Because that happens in other communities too. That happens in Asian communities. That happens in
Yeah.
Hispanic communities where
European,
it's
dude.
like this group of Hispanics, like we're better than these other I'm like, why? I don't understand
I
where these things came from. Growing up, I heard them though, and they
Hmm.
just didn't make
I have a
sense.
question for you,
Yeah.
Angelo. Regarding
Yes.
one of my coworkers is Puerto Rican, and he
Gross.
abs like he absolutely despises Dominicans. Did you experience do you
I
can you
I was
substantiate
told
that?
so yes, I was told this growing up. I was told that the two did not mesh, you know, and I never understood why.
Okay, so first
I
of all,
never
Puerto
had a
Rican Dominican
yeah.
hatred is amateur. The real racist stuff is Dominican versus Haitians. That is a whole nother level, dude. That is
Yeah,
insane. Um,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but just
No,
from
it's cool.
meeting people and just like, um, yeah, dude. If you get a Dominican, they have like half a Corona. They'll tell you about all the voodoo people they hate. And it's like, all right, like, no,
I
That's
mean,
like
go ahead.
go ahead. We
no. Go ahead, Angelo. I asked you to
uh
get no.
no, yeah, so I heard that growing up and I didn't understand it from a young age. I was like, 11, 10, 11 years old,
Mm-hmm. 6, 7.
I didn't understand it. It never gripped onto me. It's not something but I was never, I never had a follower mentality, my whole life. I was always like, just naturally, I would look at something and I'd be like, if I thought it was stupid, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dumb. Um, I never felt this like desire to like impress people or something like I just I think a lot of people are like that. You just kind of naturally like you fall into yourself. You're just like okay, yeah, like
Not me.
you're not like you don't have like an extreme archetype, personality. It's kind of like, you know, because I was always
My
kind of like
lack of archetype made me want one so bad. I was like, where do I fit in? I have
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
to.
I guess like
am I
that.
a
Yeah,
nerd? Am I a jock? Like
yeah. I mean, I guess I went through that like everyone else too, like trying to fit in, but not really trying to fit in any group of people, but just trying to fit in with like what resonates with who I am as a person. Like, who am I? What do I enjoy?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily needs to be a group of people that do that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
but some people would desire that that kind of, and they'll go through great lengths for that. But, um, anyway, I got off track. Just to say that, like, it never stuck with me. I never got it. I never understood it, and so I never like I said, I never participated in that. I never made it a thing,
Mm-hmm.
And so I noticed that it rarely got brought up because of that. Because I didn't make it an issue because I didn't understand why it would be an issue.
Yeah.
right, like what
You
does it
know?
stem from?
Yeah,
Like
and whatever it stems from, it ain't got shit to do with me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I treat people the way most people treat people, like, you know, based on your character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I treat people just purely based on skin color. But no, it is one of those things that's like such an American centric view of like racism. Of like, oh man, America's so racist. Like, dude, you need to travel. Like, you'll
Yeah.
realize,
Oh
like,
yeah.
it is not even close to like in some
Living in
countries.
Korea, man.
Yeah, Korea, they still have
It's
signs up,
like
no Japanese allowed. It's like okay, like,
Right.
yeah. Oh,
but
there'll be like signs up that say no Americans.
yeah, I mean,
And
I don't blame them at this point. But anyway, no, because it
yeah.
was like, I don't know. I was at a dinner party a few years ago, and this wife, she was German, and she was just like talking smack about America the whole time. Which, look, dude, I don't care who's president. Like, Trump's president right now. Any American wants to have grievances with America, I got you. But if a dirty European starts talking about my country, I'll put on my MAGA hat. I'm gonna become bald eagles
Especially
everywhere.
one of the Huns.
So, dude, I remember she started saying like something about, like, how America was so racist. I just started going off. I'm like, oh yeah, what about those gypsies, huh? You love those people, huh? What about the Romani people? You love them and how you treat them? Like, oh, what's with this camp that's being shut down nearby? This and it's like, I don't know, because like, dude, you guys, everyone has these like cultural rivalries, man. Like, there's gotta be, okay, maybe not. Maybe there's like, I was about to say maybe there's Tibetan monks, but I bet they hate the Chinese, so never mind.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone out there.
That just shows you how impressionable we are. How influential we are as a species,
Yeah,
right?
we're a social
That
species,
people,
you know.
yeah, that we can be conveyed an idea at a young age, right? And we can be brought up in that idea and adopt that idea and be so ingrained in it without ever fully like understanding why we even believe in that. That's
Yeah.
just what we came up knowing, and that's all you know.
Right. And I mean,
Yeah,
that's epistemology. That's what it is, man. But you go ahead.
I don't know what that word is.
Yeah, epistemology. It's one of the four pillars of logic. It is what you just said. It's what you described. The process in which to determine why you believe what you believe. Like justifying what you believe. So like, you think this is bad, why? And then having to think about that. But yeah. So yeah, one big thing for me was religion. Like, I grew up very religious, Southern Baptist. I went through a whole crisis after my first deployment of like, what is my religion? Why do I believe what I believe? Because we go to these places and it's like, oh, these guys are all Muslim. Why? Oh, yeah, because they're born here. I'm a Southern Baptist Christian because that's where I was born and how I was raised. So it's like, okay, like, why do I believe what I believe? And so that was difficult for me. And I think I'm a pretty smart dude. So for maybe like half the people in the country, like that's not happening.
Yeah.
But sorry, let's just talk about how smart I am and how cool I am. So if we want to move on from that.
No, please proceed. Keep going. I wish to learn from you.
Yeah. My vocabulary is very limited, though. I just know that word because it's a fun one, and I always say it wrong. Like epistemology or epistemology, I get it wrong all the time.
I can't say either of those words. Fuck them up.
I try to. I've practiced, and this is where far I've gotten. I don't even know what I'm saying is right. I love it as a concept, and like having to work within, because then that can inform your political opinions of like, why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah. What makes sense to you, and why does it? You start getting into the
it's like, oh, I'm a capitalist,
fabric
or like
of ideas.
Yeah, like, I like capitalism, I don't like communism. Like, why? Well, I was kind of raised that way. I was like, why? Like, maybe I should look into these things. And then you start reading, the Communist Manifesto, so you can get better at making fun of it. So it's like there's a journey there, or even like gun rights. I'm a big Second Amendment guy, and that for me, like that was like a losing issue with a lot of people, because you have things like, dude, school shootings, they're not, like, it's insane that we've just done nothing, right? And then it's like, how can I still hold these views? And I remember that someone tried to catch me on this, because we had to do, so what EO is from being in the military. I don't know if it was EO when we were in the Marines Coop, was it?
I think it was. Yeah.
So equal opportunity, all that.
Opportunity.
So I went to the school to become an EO rep.
There's an EO rep.
Yeah. So I went to the school to become an EO rep, and I remember we had to do this whole presentation about ourselves, like who we are and what our beliefs are and all that. What are some things that we would like to portray about ourselves? And like I was like, I'm a patriot. I love my country. I'm very big into history. And dude, I'm like the only white dude in this class. And a dude in the class, you know, much older than me, much higher rank, but he jumps in, and he's a black dude, and he's like, "You like American history so much, and you say you're a patriot. What do you think about the Tulsa riots?" And this is in front of everybody. You know, this wasn't like a private conversation. And but I remember this thing because like reading about the Tulsa race riots. I don't know if you've heard of these.
I haven't.
So a lot of people haven't. It's like it's a big event where I don't know the leading cause leading up to it, but there was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This was considered Black Wall Street. It was a Black American community that was just doing great economically and everything like that. And there was some tension that happened over something. I don't remember what, but a bunch of white people from the surrounding towns burned this place to the ground. Like 50 people, I think, died. And it's like a big event that it's like when people try to point to like, why are black people in America so dumb or poor or whatever? And it's like, dude, they built a community up and we destroyed it. You know, like white people just went and destroyed it. And so it's like, yeah, they did try to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, and then a bunch of racist assholes went and killed 50 people. And so when he asked me this question, what I answered was, I think the Tulsa race riots are the strongest argument for the Second Amendment, because a armed minority is a hard to oppress minority. That if they were all strapped, like that wasn't happening. So when like the Black Lives Matter protests were going on and riots and all that, there was one group called the Not Fucking Around Coalition. It was funny to me because these people, they're all black and they're all carrying guns, AR-15s, AK-47s, all that, whatever. You know, just they're all carrying long arm rifles and stuff. The response from the Republican, like the right-wing people that are so pro Second Amendment, were like, "This is scary," which means like, why? Like this is patriotic. Like this is America.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's people who are saying we're not going to stand for oppression in America.
And then like they're not shooting anybody. They're just
they're just saying, hey, don't F with us.
Yeah, they're not fucking around. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, like I when it comes to guns, you know, I know how to shoot them like y'all. I respect their power. I'm not a gun nut. I'm just not. There's a lot of power in a gun, and that ability to instantly like end someone else's life, I don't take lightly. So, you know, unfortunately though, you know, we don't live in a fairy tale world. So I have to keep guns within arm's reach in the event that I have to protect my family. You know, that's really all it is, to protect them from someone trying to invade my home, right? And of course, on a bigger scale, you citizens are armed to prevent tyranny,
Sure.
right? Because absolute power always corrupts, right? We keep seeing it always. We keep seeing it. It's like people who come into power, and that's the struggle that we have now, is that no one wants to do what's good for human prosperity, for American prosperity, for what's good for the people. They just want to fucking treat us like cattle, keep siphoning money off of us, and then just like it just keeps going up, and then things just keep getting more expensive. It's getting harder to live. It's like ridiculous. The answer to things getting expensive is not that I need to work harder. Fuck that. Like I'm just trying to exist. I'm trying to chill. I pay my part. I give my hours for the week, and that's it. But this fucking thing that we're moving into, this dystopia where it's just like, oh, now you got to have a side hustle. Now you got to work 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. It's like, and granted, I don't participate in that anymore. Thank God, right? But I don't think it should be a standard that anyone has to live, right? Instead of just moving towards a society where everyone can actually prosper. You know, that's where I'm at, you know, and I don't feel like those things are being done by the people at the top, regardless if they're Democratic or Republic. You know, they all fucking suck to me, in my own opinion.
Well, this is where I would take offense to what you're saying and jump in and clutch my pearls. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I get what you're saying, and like there isn't. I don't think most people involved in politics are evil or whatever, but it's like what are well, maybe now, I don't know, but like when you're talking about like what are actionable things, like what can be done and what should be done, that's when things get a bit more complicated. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the things that need to happen are at odds with the voters. So like for example, housing, um, and estate taxes, things like that, wealth taxes. Not wealth tax, but like estate tax. So housing, right? Where you have in most communities, it is your strongest voting base. The people that are going to vote every election are homeowners, right? They're incentivized to keep driving up the value of their homes. We have a housing crisis in America. People can't afford homes, but the people that have homes vote. And people that have homes want the price of their homes to rise because for them it's an asset vehicle, it's a financial vehicle.
Okay, you see, and that's okay. Go ahead.
No,
I'm going to touch on that.
Go ahead and touch on it now. That's fine.
I think that's the biggest problem. Why is a house? Who decided that a house was an asset? A house is a home to raise a family that produces good citizens for its country, right? Being raised in a loving and that's your sanctuary, in a loving home, and then treating it like this asset. Because I personally don't give a fuck about the value of my home. I'm glad that I could afford it and I like living here, and that's it. And I'm gonna leave it for my children. This whole thing with treating homes like this, like an asset, and all this shit is, to me, is just like.
But that's what homeowners
That's the
do.
first problem.
Because
that's the first.
Well, that's why I brought it up first. But this is something where it's like it is directly at odds with democracy, because the people that are voting don't care. They want the price of their home going up, and that's why you have people like. And there was an interview with Trump. He was asked what he was going to do about the home crisis. He says, "I'm going to reduce the cost of housing without dropping the property value." It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's fucking stupid.
That doesn't make any sense.
But whatever, so it's like,
tell me, Marine, how are you going to feed this belt back into the machine gun?
Mm-hmm.
Show me the mathematical equation.
Because like it just doesn't make any sense. Like to me, it's like that is like something that's actionable that needs to happen, but it's at odds with the voters. Like no, like the voters won't go for that, unfortunately. So that's one thing where we kind of be like, okay, motherfuckers, like until it gets bad enough and people get more politically active. But what happens is people become less politically active, and they see they feel like nothing matters, and like there's this like populism where you have someone like Trump, who is a populist, that goes, there's all these great things these awful things that are happening to you. The system's rigged against you. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad. I'm gonna fix it. It's all them. It's all the elites or whatever, or the billionaires or the Jews or the lizard people. It's something, it's not you, and there's nothing that you can tangibly fix or that we can. It's all nebulous. So you promise everything, you deliver on nothing. And it's just like, okay, like we kind of have to have intelligent conversations about this and move about these things intelligently. Because like, when we're talking about like, price of housing, price of food, like these things, like we do want these prices to go down, but then like, it's like, okay, we can't be having conversations about we need to have our goods go down, but then we are going to completely restrict the labor and put tariffs on everybody. So driving the prices of everything up naturally by taxing the consumer, and then getting rid of all the labor. So then unemployment goes down to an artificially low number, starts raising the prices of everything, and you go, and nothing happens, and it just gets worse. And it's like, okay, like the things that are actionable are not happening in the way that they need to be. And it is like I get frustrated a lot of times engaging with people in politics because a lot of people don't care, and that's fine. And everything you said, I disagree with a lot of it, but I don't blame, and this sounds condescending, I'm not trying to sound condescending, but I think that's an issue with our media, is they're so wrapped up in talking about bullshit. The right-wing media is talking about trans women, I guess, trans illegal Muslims that are taking everyone's jobs while also spending all their time in emergency rooms, while on the left they just talk about that, and like that's the argument now. It's like, no, like there's actual things we need to talk about and point out how absurd some of this shit is, and start fixing these things, because never once in my life has a transgender person negatively or positively affected my life. why the fuck is that half of the media coverage?
Right. And these things that uh, affect a microcosm,
Mm-hmm.
you know, population is suddenly the crux of everything.
Right.
Like you were saying, that they are the reason that everything is terrible.
If we punish them, it'll get better for you.
Right.
Hate that
And
mentality.
But that's a
yeah,
strong mentality. It's a simple narrative, and like narratives are powerful, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a worldview that's simple, and that it's like a to B to C, like that's it.
So someone has to suffer for me to prosper. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a maybe it's a primitive mentality. I don't know, whatever it is, but I don't agree with it one bit. It's stupid.
it's I had to look it up, but it's
Schadenfreude.
no, the zero sum mentality.
Oh yeah, zero sum game. Yeah.
Like the idea that if someone else is succeeding, I'm losing,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have to pull everything down so that way I can do better. And it's I think it's a fallacy. Like
Yeah.
everybody can do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but things aren't going to be equal. So this is another thing too, is like moralizing economic systems. This is one thing, a reason I hate communism, is because it's just, oh, it's moral, but it's like you can all be morally poor, like that's
Yeah.
not good. Like I'd rather you could all be so equal in your poverty, but like we don't want that. Like I'm okay with gazillionaires existing if I don't have to worry about a lot of the things that I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, I'm blessed. I live a great life. I don't have
Yeah.
woes, financial woes. I don't, and
Yeah, same.
a lot of that is just because me and my family were pretty frugal,
Same.
and I have a
Yeah.
steady job, and I'm kind of a shut-in, so we don't travel, we don't do anything like that. So it's just like, oh, okay, like green line go up in my investment account, you know. So that's it. Like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't have that luxury, and you know, shit happens, and but also a lot of people are really dumb, and even when it comes to finances, man, and a lot of the stuff out there, you know, we talk about why you believe what you believe. A lot of the things that people say about financial advice is just awful. You know, we talked to like, oh, my parents, like their financial issues are not like their understanding of finances are like have been so awful. You know, like I remember my dad like telling me like, oh, when you join the Marines, make sure you put $250 a paycheck in your savings account. That way, when you retire, you don't have to work ever again. It's like, what? But then it's like, dude, what? Like, that is maybe that worked in the 70s. I don't, but it doesn't work now. You know, like we don't have pensions anymore. We don't have a lot of this stuff. Like with there's 401ks and like knowing what that is and how that works and matching contributions. You know, things like that. Like these are things you can take advantage of, but people don't talk about that. And people don't want to listen either. They want the get rich quick scheme. You know.
Yeah, I want to ride Doge to the moon.
Yeah. Or GameStop, you know, Diamond Hands, all those guys.
Yeah.
But
So glad I was kind of in that space for a very, very short minute. And I got out. I was like, this is dumb. I'm not.
Well, I know a lot of people made a lot of money on that stuff. When we were in Korea,
I wasn't one of them.
I made a little money off Doge.
Well, we had a few in our battery in Korea. Leaving Korea, there's a few millionaires out there that we know, or made at least close to $1 million.
Really?
Yeah, man, because everyone got really into like investing in Korea. And this is what got me into investing was, holy shit, you know, seeing people leave Korea, like made $900K in like 6 months. And it's like, the hell? Because people, do you remember there's a guy named Ruiz? He's like a fat little guy. I don't know if you remember him. But he like made a list of like all the Chinese companies when COVID first hit, and he's like, these companies are gonna be the most affected, and they threw all their money into them when right when COVID dropped, and then after a year, those companies all started doing better, sold all their Chinese stock and made a ton of money off of it. And I just remember
Wow.
like hearing that, I was like, wow, maybe I should start investing. And the biggest thing that I've seen personally was went on to the congressional financial reports that they have to do monthly, and I found a congressman that was like looked really sketchy, and he made a lot of contributions to a stock. And I looked at what committees he's on, and it lined up with like a insider trading, and I've doubled my money in a year on that stock. It's like, yeah, dude, this is pretty. There's some corrupt dudes out there. And I'll take advantage of it. I'm okay with it as long as I can take advantage of it. Like, let me be a part of the corruption, and I'm happy.
That was such a fun time, though. Like when all the microtransactions and short day trading, like when that was like a part of the day-to-day, like the frat boys and all that, like the memes you'd see of guys like just sitting there with some day trading stock on the TV, just hooting and hollering, and it was just so funny to me. It became a thing, and now, like everything else that becomes popular for a little bit, and now it's back to more things like you're talking about. Like, okay, let's get back to real, investment here.
A lot of that's fun. I mean, I'm still on Wall Street Bets on Reddit. You know, I just love the they call it loss porn. It's like just seeing people lose everything. It is like satisfaction. It's like yes, dude. It's very satisfying.
You've got that crab mentality, man.
I don't participate in it. I'm just a spectator, and I'm like, great, dude.
You're watching the crabs in the bucket, and you're like, oh, that one. He was gonna get out, and they ripped his arm off.
Well, just seeing like, and it's dude, they're so vicious, and then you get some schizos on there, and it's so a lot of the fun things. You see a schizo, make it, dude, and that's perfect because you're like, it's gonna run out because like they're like, I've seen the Matrix, and they make all these predictions. And they make a ton of money in one day. And like I've seen people make like $800K off of like 20,000 in a day. And it's like, wow. And then he's like, this is my next moves. And people are just like, nice. And they see him just lose it all. And it's like, yeah, dude, it's sick. But
it's like people with gambling addictions, man.
It's gambling. It is gambling, especially like cryptocurrencies. It's gambling. Like,
I'm so glad that I don't have that.
Oh, I think that's the worst addiction.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst addiction out there because like no addiction can ruin your life so fast. I feel like alcohol addiction, might as well just call yourself a red-blooded American. All right. But like heroin, cocaine, like you can be on these things for years, or maybe heroin's a bit different. Maybe a few months until your life gets ruined. Irreparably, dude, gambling can happen in a day.
And the crazy thing is, like, gamblers, they just keep thinking, oh, I just need to, like, eventually a heroin addict, I feel like they hit rock bottom and they're like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Or they die,
right.
It's, one or the other. But gambling addicts, even if they'll be like, okay, this is destroying my life, I need to stop. You put them in a casino. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
You put them in a casino and they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna pull $100 out," and then they're, man, I think the roulette table, it's gonna pay off for me. I'm just gonna go pull another 100 out. I promise, and that's it. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's like,
what are you doing?
I need to fight this evil blackjack dealer. If I beat him, I can buy my son 2 hearts, But
those people need to just be strapped to some sort of game or something. Like, here, get it out on here.
Yeah.
Don't do this. But maybe the fact that stakes are high is a part of it. Like, oh my God, like
the
my
stakes
life
are
can
real.
be fucked.
Yeah.
Stakes are real. It's like, but my life can be so much better if I just win. If I just win it big one time.
That's
Right.
the
I just
You
need
know,
that one
it's like
score.
just one score and everything will
And
be
then
all
I'll
right.
stop.
And it's like then I'll stop. Yeah. I lost $60 once at a casino. I was like, not for me.
this
Yeah.
reminds me
And it
of
was in slots.
I mean, of course, because I love this book, but in Blood Meridian, the speech that the judge gives near the end about war and how it's the most noble of games, and like that a game is only worth what one is willing to lose or something, or the wager, and that's what makes war the best game. And
Yeah.
I mean, I love that book, but Jenny hated it. She's like, "This is stupid. Nothing's happening." Like,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Well, it's funny because like
When do we?
I couldn't wait for her to finish it because I read up to a point and I had to put it down because I was like it was too disturbing for me. I had to like, okay, I can't read this right now. I didn't touch it for like a year. And she started reading it and I was like, okay, well now I have to finish it. I can't have my wife read my book before I do. I'm no longer a man. Then I need to defend my honor. No, I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
but then I finished the book and I was like, babe, you gotta finish it because I'm like, I can't wait to hear her perspective on it. She's like, this sucks. I'm like, damn it, because I had this whole like, oh my gosh, like, and it was cool to me, this book, like reading it and then seeing all the wildly different things people pulled from it, and people arguing about it, and like I think it's such a good book, but I don't know, my bad. This has become a Blood Meridian podcast from now on.
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about Cormac McCarthy. I didn't know. I need to read more of his books. He has well, dude, his books are so hard to read though.
Yeah, I don't like the way he writes.
I don't like it. Oh, I love it, but I hate it. Like it's like
It makes me so angry.
yeah. So like Velez, the way he writes is he doesn't use like quotation marks or commas. You have to really pay it. It forces you to have to like really pay attention to what's being written and to see who is saying something, and a lot of that is deliberate. And this is why I'm against them making it into a movie, because it's like by showing you who is saying something like changes the dynamic of certain things, because you could read scenes in the book that it's like you don't know who's saying what, and it changes everything depending on that, and it's like, ooh, that's good. And like
Right, and you end up going back. And
yeah,
you're like, okay, did I miss the like a switch in who is speaking?
which there's a big conflict of the book between people who read it is their perception of the main character. While read the book is wildly different. However, your perception of this young man is. If you're reading this book as like this young man is a good person or trying to be a good person, you'll read it completely different than the way I read it, which I read it as like he is not a good person, and it's just like the whole thing gets recontextualized, and I love it, dude. But it's definitely like one of the most. It is a very graphic book, and like I said, I had to put it down. I was like, oh man, I can't read this. Which is like they're making it into a movie now. It's like, dude, don't do that. There's no way they're gonna do it justice, and it's the brutality is such a key part to it, and it's like they can't show half the stuff in this book.
Right.
But because the main villain of the book is like the most vile person you could imagine, and it's not like, oh, the Joker, it's like, I'm gonna get you, bats. It's like if the Joker like really liked to torture people and was a pedophile and like relished in it, it's like, oh, that's pretty bad.
If they make it into a movie and they made it true to the book, it would end up being like a Serbian film.
Yeah, it'd be AO. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Or rated X. I was like, no, you can't show this.
Right.
And no, I love it, man. But it's a weird way to say I love it, but it's because
it's a weird thing. But yeah.
But also because it's about. I didn't know this, but like there's the whole like third act takes place in my hometown. I didn't know that, and so that was crazy for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been here,
Right.
But Yeah, because it's a
That
Wild
is crazy.
West story, and I grew up in Arizona, so it's so like for me, like there's like another part of it that's like, oh wow, like I know exactly what they're talking about, and also Coop, you lived in Arizona too, so you get
Yes,
some,
yeah.
you glean a lot of that, but no man, okay, I know we're talking about Cormac. We'll go back to politics or the modern news or whatever. But I wanted to say something about this new virus thing. I don't know. People are talking about this Hanta virus. Hanta virus.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this, Velez?
I briefly saw something about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't.
So, Coop, if you wanna, because you had the thing pulled up, I don't know if you wanted to talk. I know I rant a lot, so.
Yeah. So basically, there's this Dutch cruise ship, the MV Hondius, and they had an outbreak of this hantavirus on board it, and it started, I think, the 7th, but or they noticed it on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, there's been uh, eight eight cases. I think 2 or 3 people have died. There have been some fatalities, and right now there's a panic that the World Health Organization is trying to kind of put down, because this disease has like a up to a 50% mortality rate, like
Mm-hmm.
in the worst cases. And normally it wouldn't be transmittable between humans, but this just so happens to be like the one strain. It's called the Andes strain that is.
Right.
And because they're on a ship, it's like the perfect, spreading. It's the perfect vector for it, because it does require like close contact.
Yeah.
Um, but like at this point, people have already gotten off the boat. Like multiple dozens have gotten out at like I think it was the Virgin Islands. Yeah, St. Helena. And people are thinking this is going to be the next big COVID, but the WHO says no, it's not that bad.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring up of why I'm not worried about it, because and why I think people are right to be worried about COVID is because of the lethality is so high. Usually, diseases that have high lethality do not transmit that easily, or are not
Because
that
it's killing.
because it kills you so quickly. Like that's what made the coronavirus at the start like so terrifying, was because of how transmittable it was. That it's like once this gets out of hand, it's gonna be so difficult to contain and, funnily enough, vaccinate for, because it has so many opportunities to mutate and change. Because it's like it's something. It's called the Mars. I think it's called the Mars. Let me Google this. It's like the rating of infective, like how infectious, how to measure bra size. No, sir. Um,
Is it one handful or two?
of disease. Dude, I'm so bad at spelling. I thought it was called the Mars, but it's the CPS. Or wait, no, it is. Wait, molecular test. Um, but there was a way that people, like, I remember reading this, like how infectious, like influenza, the rating will be like 1.1. Like you'll probably infect one person on average, and that's like what makes the flu so spreading, and like spreads every year so fast. And like COVID, the coronavirus, COVID-19 was like a 3 or a 4. So it was like, whoa, okay. And then like the Delta variant was like a 15. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. So it was like how much more infectious it was like a to me, like, okay, like I think that it's completely understandable why people were freaking out about it initially. It's not called Mars. I have been saying it's called Mars for so long, but it's PMC. Man. Wait, no, that's completely different. Okay. Urine tests. Nice. Biopsies. Okay, sorry. But like, so for me, like when it comes to this disease, like I'm not worried about it at all. I see people like, oh, here we go again, another virus. Like, no, like this is not something to be worried about. Like that. It's just, people saying it is are just, I don't know, capitalizing on people's ability to be fears and all that. Yeah. So
Yeah, it seems like it seems to me that it's just, oh yeah, there's this thing. It could be, you know, and maybe that the reason it's, you know, a popular topic these past couple days is because, oh yeah, 50% mortality rate. It's so much deadlier than COVID, but reading about it, it doesn't seem
mm-hmm.
like if these people, even if they got off the boat,
Right.
it seems like it'd be okay. Now they're just gonna go to their house and like
Die.
they'll have this disease, maybe die. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they've got a coin flip on whether or not they're dead. But
You turned the lights off, Angelo. What's going on? This is
They were hurting my eyes.
this is the dark phase. This is
they get some mood lighting.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the my eyes are sensitive now.
No, I
Phase.
got you. I have a light I turn on sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's a little dark in here. And one of my buddies that came here for a show, he came to my house for a show. He's from Liberia. This guy's like 11:59 for how dark he is, close to midnight. You know, he's dark as hell. And so like we had to have that shit on full blast to see him in the room. I was like, okay, like he just absorbs the light, you know. But I felt like such an idiot. I was like, oh, Liberia, like what do they speak there? He's like, English. And I was like, dude, I should have known that, and that's embarrassing. Because I would have guessed French, you know, or you know, because like Western Africa. But,
Yeah.
Nope, they speak English. But no, man. Yeah, slow news week, dude. Not a whole lot going on. That really is like fun to talk about. Like, oh yeah, the Virginia Supreme Court did their thing. I'm sure you guys don't care about that, but I did want to talk about James Comey, the former FBI director. We talked about this last week, but I want to hear your perspective on it, Angelo. Because for me, I heard from my family, like, the one thing that would cause them to hate Trump or whatever would be the First Amendment, like violations against the First Amendment. And when it came to this James Comey, who was the former FBI director, he posted a picture on Instagram of some seashells. I don't know if you've heard any of this, Velez, but he took a picture of some seashells, and the seashells had the numbers 8647, and he said, like, this is a cool formation of seashells I found. That's what he posted. And he's been arrested by the federal government for threatening the president for this post, for saying 8647. And to me, that is insane. And I want to hear your perspective on it. I mean, assuming everything I said is correct. Now, I may be lying, and you'd have no way of knowing unless you're looking it up right now as we speak, but the lack of bright lights on your face tells me you're not fact-checking me. So I can tell you anything right now, and I'm pumped on that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you want an honest opinion, then you need to give me the honest information to make that opinion.
No. But I'm here to clip you and make you look as awful as possible and send it
Oh,
to.
sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. No, I completely agree. Like, what is that? You know, we have we might not agree with the things that people say, and yes, some people can say awful things. But as soon as you start going to the territory of trying to regulate what people are allowed to say, now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say where people are getting confused that if you say something stupid shit in the wrong setting and you're removed from that setting, then that's just, but and I don't mean remove like
No, I know,
you're
I know.
arrested. Like yeah, like if you're in a courtroom and you fucking disrespect the judge or something, you're probably gonna get kicked out, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. But what I'm saying is, yeah, to just kind of like take away someone's like free will to arrest them based on their opinion. I mean, now you're saying you're dictating what ideas are allowed to be conveyed,
Well, it's,
basically, because that's what's.
it's like I was always raised that like one of the most important things that we have to allow is burning the American flag in protest. Because like to me, like I was always raised like this is like the perfect example of a principle. Like to me,
Yes.
like it is like I hate when people do that. I vehemently hate it. I don't because
Of course.
because like I consider myself a patriot, and
Yeah.
that flag represents a lot to me. And unfortunately, a
Likewise.
lot of people I know have died and had that flag handed to their families. And so it's like, okay, I get it, but it's like as a principle, like I hate these people, but as a principle of like freedom of speech, this should be protected. Like I will do
Yeah.
what I can. Like I will fight for your right to say the most awful thing about me and attack the core of who I feel I am. Because like to me that's integral of like what it means to be an American is like having these liberties, and no matter what, like they will not be
I think
infringed.
that's what it means to be a human being. In general.
Yeah, but
Like,
I think
I
every
think,
human should
yeah.
be an American. All right, I think the whole globe should be
Yeah.
red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Ain't
I
they
think
red?
we should definitely. I think freedom, yeah, because yes, like you say, there's a principle there where it's like wrong. You feel some type of way about it, but the same way you're allowed to feel that way, they're allowed to feel their way, and then now you have a conflict. But conflict that the conflict of interest is necessary for what you're saying to exist. So I stand on the same side as you. I agree. It bothers me too, but it is important that it remains allowed. As wrong as it is, I get it completely what you're saying.
yeah. I mean,
Well, and so,
okay, go ahead. Sorry, Coop.
well, I was gonna say like the argument I was making last week about it is, yes, I absolutely agree. Burning, you should be able to burn it, even though I think when the way it's done, it's like wearing a butt plug and being like, oh yeah, gays are bad. But uh, at a certain point, it, like
You didn't get it?
I don't
get
get it. I don't get it.
it,
Basically
like
saying like, go
it's
ahead.
like
Oh, like
blasting your
you're saying it's
like
like
a man,
contrary to like what you.
right?
Okay, I got you.
It's counterproductive.
You're burning the flag of the country that gives you the
The
very
right
freedom
to burn the
the
flag.
right
Yeah,
to do that. Like the irony
yeah,
of that is like
Right. Okay.
it's
right.
like what?
But I think when you hold a certain office, or like when we were in the military,
Mm.
we didn't have freedom of speech
Yes.
necessarily. And
Hmm.
when you get into a certain position, you have to weigh what your free speech you exercising your rights of free speech is going to do to you.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
every
know,
job anywhere, man. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
It's
I
funny
think it
you
was
said
in
that.
poor taste.
Yeah. I think so too. It's funny because I had this conversation with my daughter at the dinner table one day, and I had an opinion about something, and she's like, "Dad, you can't say that." I said, "Listen, I, I agree with you. I'm not gonna go say this outside, right? I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it in a setting that's gonna upset other people, this and that, because everyone has opinions that's gonna upset other people." I was like, "But it's my opinion, and I think I have the right and the freedom to express that in the privacy of my own home. I'm not going expressing that opinion in public,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really what it is either. It's just
Well, no, it
to say
does.
that
Yeah,
like
we
to
want to hear
teach
it.
her. No,
I'm
because
just playing.
to
I'm
be
playing.
honest
I'm
with you,
playing.
no, to be honest with you, I can't remember what it is.
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
like
Yeah.
when I say I weed daily, so I have good memory, but at the same time I can't remember exactly what we're talking about. I'm sure if
Mhm.
if I asked her about it, she might remember, or maybe not. But
It was
the
about
point
them
is, it
making
was
the
a
Little
very
Mermaid black, wasn't it? That's probably what it was.
no, I don't what
They took
this
the.
happened like a week ago, so that's not
Oh
even
yeah,
like
I
in
gotcha.
the scope of, but or maybe even a few days ago. The point is that it was a good it was a good opportunity for me to teach her about that, to teach her like, okay, you're gonna have a lot of thoughts and opinions about things, right? And
Mhm.
yes, there's freedom in speech and there's freedom in thought, but it's like there's also responsibility in what you say. You
Yeah.
have a responsibility for what comes out of your mouth. So, and so, yeah, I'm gonna say this in my home. This is how I feel about something, but it's in my home. I'm not. That's my viewpoint of something. I'm not putting that in practice when I step out of my home. Right? It's just an opinion on something. I see something on TV. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't agree. I don't know what it was. I really don't.
Mhm.
But but the point is that yeah, you should be allowed, because we all have like crazy thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure people have thought about like unaliving other people before,
You can
right?
say killing. That's
um
fine. We don't.
Killing, right? They
Mhm.
when
Every
you've
time I
thought
walk
about,
into a room, I think about how
yeah,
would I
yeah,
kill everybody in this
yeah,
room.
you
Oh,
don't
your
yeah,
Mattis quotes. You want me to turn off the
like you
camera?
just
All right, 1 second, baby.
you know
All right, you're good, baby. It's off. Are you coming back in? Yeah. Okay. I'm waiting till my wife comes back because don't need you guys, these
She's
people
got to
out
cross
here
the stage.
thirsting after my lady, my partner. I'll just say my partner, and that'll throw everybody off. Like, is this guy gay? It's like, yeah, but
part.
you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Hmm. But
The joke is, I'm the partner.
mhm. Yeah, when you said butt plug, I was like, what? How did you know? He's talking about me. Um,
Using that insider information.
yeah. Like
But yeah, what I was
playing
just saying is like
chess.
you have those thoughts, but like you don't act on them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're not like
Yeah,
gonna
what are
go
we
take
talking?
someone out.
Oh, I was gonna say, what are we talking about now?
Talking about the whole like like you have
The whole?
like
Sorry.
like what I'm saying is like that was a good moment for me to like teach her about like
Hmm.
responsibility and how you convey it. So because I know they're watching everything I'm doing, and so I
Mhm.
say, yes, I know this is crazy. This is just my opinion. I'm not gonna go out and shout this at Walmart or anything like that. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know everyone's curious what it was, and to be honest, as I talk about it more, I'm wondering too because I really can't remember.
Oh, I know. No,
It's
I mean,
been
everyone's got some like your public and your private views. Like, there's
Yeah,
even some things for me where it's like and also like how people hear things because people are so in a corner that if you say a phrase of words, you can be completely genuine, but they're gonna write you into a group. They're gonna like connect you to a web of ideas you don't hold, and it's like you say something that they pull you and they put you in a group that it's like, well, no,
that's crazy.
So like
Yeah, that's really.
oh, like a big thing is do you remember who Kyle Rittenhouse was or is? I guess he's still alive.
Yeah, the guy with about the rifle, and he gunned someone down, didn't he?
He killed two people and wounded a third, and
And it was in self-defense, is
yeah,
what was ruled.
it was ruled
Okay.
self-defense. So he was found not guilty. And so for me, when I'm like, yeah, dude, I think Kyle Rittenhouse was justified. People will hear that and they're like, you are a Republican MAGA
right.
fascist or something. And it's like, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no. Like that has
They don't even
nothing to
know who
do
you
with
are as a
that.
person.
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't know anything else about your life. They just assumed everything you were
Hmm.
based on that one opinion.
But I think for a lot of people, they do find comfort in these like web of ideas, these groups. And then if you do meet someone and you hear them say certain things, I do understand why people like immediately latch onto like, oh, you're this kind of person.
I feel like it's a very
Because
tribal mentality.
what is tribal, but people are tribal, and it's
Yeah.
accurate most of the time,
Yeah.
Um, if someone's like, we just got to get rid of all, you know, the undesirables of our country, like they're kind of ruining the country. It's like I can attribute so many things that I'm probably going to be right about, like how this person believes certain things,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
no, like there isn't someone out there that is like America is a white Christian nation, but RuPaul's Drag Race is fucking awesome. Like the person doesn't like that person might exist.
Yeah.
It's me. But
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. But like
I bet there is at least one person out there that's like that.
well, it's funny to me about the whole like Charlie Kirk assassination because people are like, well, it's not funny. The Charlie Kirk assassination is not funny. I will say like that's
Yeah.
awful that he was killed. He was murdered, but it was like the scramble to find out who this assassin was and their political beliefs, and it was like they were so thirsty to be like this guy's a left winger or whatever, like far left or someone, that it's
Yeah.
like,
Or trans and
well, yeah, like
I think
it's
that was they wanted it to be a trans person so they could see they're mentally ill.
yeah, and then it was like, oh, he I guess was banging a trans person, which is like that's like the most Republican thing you can do is secretly be into trans people. So it's like I don't know if that's the only you think it is, but
Dude, I love me my little chai boys.
oh, dude, that's a little bit too real. Okay, what is like a woman without a penis is like a cake without a candle. It's like an angel without wings. It's like okay, no, this is no, but what I'm saying is that people are so tribal to like immediately find something, this web, so that they can like throw it on you and be this group.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's like you said, it's comforting because then they're stacking the world into these neat little piles and these neat little blocks, and they can be like, yeah, even though everything seems like it's out of control, at least I know my world is ordered because I know these people are here,
Yeah.
and it's when you introduce the idea that like, oh yeah, I can think this thing and then this totally different thing, it challenges that narrative to them that
Yeah.
Things aren't as black and white as they want them to be.
But the thing is, like, even so, this is my frustration: is most people, I think, if you sat someone down, and they could be the most radical of any group, and you were to talk to this person for an hour or two, like a genuine, like, human conversation, they're gonna probably be much more alike than you realize. And it'd be like far more reasonable in what they have to say. But the moment you're gone from that person and they're back in that echo chamber online, it doesn't matter. And they effectively haven't been changed at all, and they're still gonna spew shit. And it's just like it's comforting because they're part of this group, and you can't challenge the group. And it's like for me, most of my feed is like far right. Like on Twitter is very far right. I have a True Social account, so of course that's all far right. The only thing that's not super far right is Reddit, but it's not that far left either because I've been banned from every left subreddit. So, dude, I got banned from one. They ban you from everything like that.
The web just went out, and they're like, "Yep, get rid of this guy."
Yeah, they're like, "This guy is a liberal." And the communists hated me. I commented one thing, and I mean, I got banned from like 140 subreddits at once. I was like, damn, okay, Jesus, you guys are fast. But
yeah, the machine's working.
It's because I said real capitalism hasn't been tried, and they did not like that. But I mean, I thought it was fun. But like for me, like I'd love to talk to people and talk to anybody of any political persuasion or mentality, and just like, but I want people to be honest, and that's what frustrates me is when people aren't honest and they hide the way they feel. And especially we talked about this earlier with like racism and stuff. Like I respect someone that's like openly bigoted and that wants to argue with me about it, as opposed to the person that's like, well, you never know. Oh, you don't know. Oh, yeah, that is not. And then at home, they're just like, I hate this slur or whatever. It's like, okay.
Didn't we say that last week? That I think we were talking and we said something like, it would be really interesting to go sit down and get a beer with Hitler.
Yeah, yeah. It was like if you so someone asked me is like so there's like a two question to determine how good someone is of a person as a man is like, would you have a beer with this man and would you trust them to watch your
Yeah,
dog? And it
yeah,
was funny because like, dude, Hitler loved dogs and I'd have a beer with
right.
anybody. So by this metric, Hitler's the greatest dude ever.
I would act like, yeah, he must be a good human being because
Right. It's what the joke is. It's not a good metric, but in
right.
reality, like I would have a beer with anybody, and so like to me, it wasn't. That's not a good question because it's like, yeah, dude, of course I'd have a beer with. Did I have a beer with Osama bin Laden? I'd be like, dude, what's going
Yeah.
on, dude? You're an asshole. What was that about, bro?
What were you
Uh,
doing there?
dude, I can't,
What was
dude.
going through your head at this moment?
Yeah, well, a SEAL Team 6 bullet at one
Other
point.
than other than 556.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like if like because I think like you can have like those genuine human to human connections. The problem is like people are so committed online, and a lot of it I do think is like foreign interference of like to keep us so divisive. And I think the internet's got to go. I think we got to get rid of something. We got to do something because people get so wrapped up in these algorithms, and it's just this like web of and like it is this community that is built that it's like um and I've had this happen to me like because I know most people I do know are Republicans or Trump supporters, or at least they used to be, or now they're like, no, I never liked him. I was like, okay, whatever, yeah, sure, dude, I see your post from 6 months ago.
Right. I
um
didn't vote for Bush.
yeah, I didn't vote for Bush. um but it's like this. um I lost my train of thought, but essentially, it's like I will talk to anybody, and I prefer that. But it's like people get so wrapped up in these groups, and I feel like there's nothing you can do, realistically, just by talking to people. I do think talking is important, and like one thing we say on this show is we're always so actually no one's hopped in here, which is crazy, but usually we do get quite a few people that pop in, and
We have American homies and Too Hot for You to See watching, but
oh. Yeah, that's my other account that I make sure that it's working on the phone.
okay.
But have people on here, and like we'll always have anybody of any political persuasion on here. The only time we ever ban somebody, we didn't even ban them actually, so I can't even say that. But like someone was just like saying a lot of crazy stuff that it was like, okay, like there was like super racist, super just crazy. It's like, okay, this person's got to go. But they like we couldn't figure out how to ban them, so they just left anyway. But I
I just had a thought.
yeah. What's up?
Like regarding the idea, like people hiding and being willing to talk and things like that, and you were saying like get rid of the internet. I was thinking the internet has led to like this radicalization, right? Like because you can go to a certain space on the internet and just bounce your ideas back and forth in this echo chamber where it's like training an AI, right? Like the AI, if it sees enough of a certain input, will be like, okay, yeah, this is reality. And before the internet, I think people politically were a lot more
aligned with your environment, I think.
yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, but also more open-minded because when you did have those political conversations, they never took place in an echo chamber. You would
you
be
had a
confronted with
yeah.
someone saying X, Y, and Z, and
You weren't just putting out a tweet and then people were basing, like it was just off that one thing. It's like, oh, this is their view. Like you could have a whole conversation like we're doing now and actually flesh out their viewpoint something.
Yeah, and there wasn't this the access. I mean, the internet is fine. My issue is the algorithm and the fact that people aren't bouncing ideas outside of the echo chamber, because it is just so self-referential. And yeah, like, have you ever
Yeah.
like in like college when you have to like research a paper and it's like it gets so grueling because a lot of papers or books will reference each other, and it's like trying to get to the primary source of something can be very difficult. But it's like that's just everything now, and it's just this whole web of, well, this guy said it, and 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 this guy said it, all the way from the top to the bottom, so it must be true. And it's like, dude,
And it becomes that Ouroboros.
yeah, the self-eating snake,
It's
the
eating its own tail.
So like this is one thing that like I got frustrated with talking to a lot of people, because of like when the Department of Education was being defunded, and it is defunded now, right? Arguing with people about this, and talking to so many people like, why that were happy it was being defunded. And it's like, why are you happy the Department of Education is being defunded? And a lot of people are like, the Department of Education, all these public schools, they're teaching these curriculums that are so whatever, pro LGBTQ or communist or so whatever it is, right? And it's like, you realize the Department of Education has nothing to do with that, right? It's all state run. This is federal government. This has nothing to do with state curriculum. In fact, in their charter, when they were registered or created under Jimmy Carter, they could not influence curriculum. And it's like, are you sure? And then they look it up, and then they go, okay, well then what the fuck is their purpose? It's like, exactly, like, you were so happy they're getting rid of it, but nothing got solved. The problem is still there. And it's like, but it's like this satisfaction. It's like, we did it. And I don't know. I got frustrated with that a lot, and not at people, but like a big thing for me is like mainstream media, like your CNN, your MSNBCs, of them trying to not, them like sane washing stuff and not like just ignoring the stupid stuff. Be like, look, this is the fact of the matter. Like I don't know. And Fox News, dude, that shit's crazy. But I always say this: if you're reading the news, you're going to be much better off than watching it when it comes to pundits and stuff like that. When people get to the news of like a pundit versus reporting, like Fox News is not bad at reporting. It's a spin on some stuff, but it's really not that bad. Like, but the issue is your pundits, your Jesse Waters, your Greg Gutfield, and them like saying their twist on it and just spouting bullshit. Like, that's where it gets like, okay, this is not good for you. But I mean, I'm also biased because I read all my news. I don't really watch it, so yeah. What sucks is some of the best stuff used to be New York Times, but you had to have a subscription to even read it, which is so annoying. And it's like, I get it why they have it that way, but I hate it at the same time, because like there's so much great reporting and stuff that is like exclusive to the New York Times. So like, for example,
it's in its own bubble.
Well, not in the same way, but I see what you're saying. But my issue was, in particular, very specific. In January 2nd of 2021, every living former Secretary of Defense wrote an open letter to the public about January 6th, but they wrote it to the New York Times. So the only way to find it was to be on to have a subscription to the New York Times. And because I did a whole write-up of January 6th, so I wanted to do a video on it, and I did a lot of not investigating. I didn't do any investigating, but I did a lot of like chronicling a lot of the things. And every one of my claims, I wanted to have hard evidence, primary sources, which sucks because I had to cut out so much because I had a whole section on Steve Bannon, but I remember being like, what, this doesn't really matter to the message of what I'm trying to get across, so I had to cut out a lot. But anyway, so like I'm just speaking from experience and just rambling, just filling dead air, because when I get nervous I start talking. But what do you? I mean, this is a big question, I guess, for you. Oh,
What are
Coop,
you
you got a
nervous
question?
about?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just
Oh,
rambling, or maybe I'm not. So maybe I'm being serious. Maybe this is like triple, quadruple irony, mega irony. Irony
I
prime.
had I had a different topic
Mhm.
that I wanted to bring up connected to the algorithm, but I don't know if you want to ask your question first.
Well, I just wanted to ask, like, because we had this conversation recently, Coop, about January 6th. What are your, I guess, opinions, if you don't mind, about January 6th? Like, do you think it was really bad? Do you think it was overblown? Do you think it, like, yeah, like, what is your general feeling around it? Because a lot of people seem like it's like the worst thing ever, and then they'll see like the big talking point is like, they're like, well, you didn't care about the riots, Black Lives Matter, or something like that. Um, but like, how do you feel about January 6th, Angelo?
oh, you're asking me?
Yes, yeah, because I mean,
I thought you were asking him.
no,
No, you're the newcomer
you're
to
the
the
newcomer.
stream.
Yeah,
Oh shit, my
yeah.
bad.
No, you're
Oh,
fine. You're fine.
Get it together, Gramps.
I was like,
sorry.
he is aura forming over here. He's rubbing his hands like.
No, I was getting my thing
Gotcha.
ready.
I gotcha.
Talking about the January 6th riot on the White House,
On the Capitol, yeah.
on the Capitol.
Mhm.
What do I think about it?
Yeah, like, what are your general thoughts? Like, do you think it was like really bad or overblown?
I really don't know, because when I saw that, I was kind of like in disbelief. I was like, "Am I watching a show? This is real? What happened?"
It was kind of surreal.
And
Yeah.
it was kind of surreal, and that's why I told you before. I was like, when it comes to some of these things, like, I don't know. I see them, and then I just kind of,
Hmm.
I don't care about that,
Yeah.
And I know that's not probably
No, it's fine. I'm not trying to like
a
jump on you
mentality, yeah.
here.
No, I don't have an opinion on it. That's my honest opinion. I don't know enough to say, because
That's fair.
I
yeah,
can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like the way we were talking, like, these things don't necessarily affect me. Like,
Hmm.
it, and I would even say, other than like the State of the Union, like when January 6th happened, point at something and be like, okay, this directly impacted my life and my well-being, and
Hmm.
I think that's uh, a totally valid stance to take on things. Like,
Right, but I mean,
I
like,
think
it's like people don't care about politics, but politics eventually will care about you. Like, there is going to be eventually, it's going to come
right,
down to something you do care about.
of course,
there's been many things that have happened that I do care about, but then I guess I'm just kind of just so fatigued by all of it,
Mhm. Yeah.
and just kind of just like I'm tired. I'm not giving up or nothing, but like I'm just living a peaceful life, and the best way to live a peaceful life is to not involve yourself with things that have nothing to do with you. And I know that's like what you goes against. It's what you're saying is like eventually we'll have something to do. Yes, yes, but just feels like there's always so much going on, and no one can fully agree. Everyone can't agree on certain things,
No, and
and
I
I feel
get
like a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
the shit that's on the news is like just like distraction. The news is more of like a distraction to people versus what's really going on. It's like, okay, here we are in May, Epstein files. What's going
Mm.
on with that, right?
right.
And they just kind of try to like just
I
move
haven't heard
and like,
anything
no.
lately.
Yeah, it's like, no, we want justice for that. We wanted the whole world is looking at that, and then nothing's being done, and everyone knows it, and it's just like, bro, what fucking reality
Hmm.
are we actually living in? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how the world's ran, and it's like, it just sucks. It really just sucks. It's stupid. It's like I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand any of it. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
and
And
and for that to be
no, you're fine. I'm not
okay.
offended at all. I think what you're saying speaks true to how most people feel. Um, especially like the Epstein file stuff.
Yeah.
My thing with a lot of this is my frustrations with um, politicians and the mainstream media that isn't like they haven't taken the role that they need to, which is to like report the shit that matters and like expose
Yeah.
whatever. Like it's a lot of the time is like trying to be neutral or sane wash or whatever, and it's like you don't get credit for it, and it's not productive, and I don't like it. I think um, energy needs to be matched, and people need like so for me personally, like I fully intend once I have everything in order to run for office for in like local government, right? When I do all what I need to do. So like for me, I'm invested, and I like that's a goal I have. Is and but the frustrating thing with a lot of this is I do think there's a lot of politicians out there that are too afraid to like um, say something that might like go against something or rock some boat or something like that, and I don't know. I think the ship sailed. I think people need to get dirty and be more combative and confront a lot of these people and ideas. And it's like one thing for me that was really frustrating was um, with some politicians when a lot of the ICE stuff started and Doge stuff was happening, where um, Doge was arresting people at like certain buildings and stuff like that, like arresting security guards. And like you're a congressman or a congresswoman, and you're part of the House of Representatives or Senate, and you're talking about how awful this is. It's like don't just say it's awful. Go there, get arrested. Like to me, that's what you should be doing. Is like you're a representative. You should be out there, like when you, there, like, of course, like within reason, like you have a job to do, but it's like part of your job is to be the moral leader of a movement or of a people, and to put yourself out there. And like to me, that's frustrating. It's like you're saying like this is awful. Put yourself in between that. Make them arrest you and violate this and violate your rights and show them like, yeah, you're a martyr or whatever, but it's like you're a public servant. Like that is your job.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers aren't enough. It's like Teddy Roosevelt said, the man in the arena. He's not the man facing disgrace, the man that's got sweat on his brow,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are too afraid to step into it.
Yeah, and so for me, like that's a frustration I have. And there's a few politicians out there that I am glad to see they have a tenacity about them and that are willing to put themselves out there and to match energy. And I think that should be applauded. But it seems too far between that. People don't have a spine. People don't have principles. They're willing, and a lot of my frustration comes from the right, where it's like I grew up very right wing, and like I'm not registered with any party, nor will I ever be. Or I don't know, maybe when it becomes advantageous for me. But when it's like what's frustrating me is like I have a set of principles that I cannot violate, and to see people that like I thought believed those same sets of principles violate them so easily. Like Christina, you're hot mic. Oh, there you go. Never mind. Those sets of principles and they violated their own principles so easily. Like that is so unbelievably frustrating for me, and it pisses me off, dude. It really just makes me so fucking angry, and that it's like I want to sit there and be like, yeah, man, what are the differences between like the political parties? What values do they hold? And there's a lot of things I wanted to associate with the right, but I can't anymore. And it's like, you're telling me that, like the Democratic Party is the ones that are fighting for, oh, been a while, huh? Yeah, what's up, Master Liberty? You're here. Oh, a NASA tag. Is that for Artemis too?
Oh, what's up, brother?
Oh, okay. So we got the first regular in 2 hours, but that's my fault because we just started this up last week. Um, Master Liberty's a great guy. He's been on a few times. He's like a huge nerd about the Constitution, and we'll get all into that. Makes me feel insignificant, you know. But no, like I know I'm just kind of rambling, man, but I feel like we need to have more political leaders that are leaders and that are out there to do things that are ridiculous. Maybe not ridiculous, but more confrontational, you know, like
They need to give the old follow me.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Now
What's awesome about what you're saying is that you're also putting it into practice. You started this with saying that you fully intend to go into office, so you fully intend to do what you want to see done from people in that position, and I think that's
well,
very admirable.
Well, no, it's. I mean, it will be admirable once I do it. I get no credit for saying I want to.
No, I'm saying that, but at least your thought process is there. I'm not gonna go do it.
No, that's fine. Of course not. I don't expect most people to.
No, I know.
I know for me, like I was raised a certain way, and been involved
that's your
with
driving
it for so
force. That's your why. That's your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire that because you're not just standing for something, but you're actively trying to change it to see what you want done.
Yeah. And
so good
in the next 8 years or 8 years when I can run. The climate might be completely different, and who knows what I'll be saying then. But Master Liberty, sorry, was busy with texturing stuff. I can answer almost any question on the Constitution. Not like it matters, but at least I can say I know the law. Yeah, it doesn't matter, nerd, fucking idiot. I'm just kidding. I love you, man. But it's like this. Like I said, it's just frustration I have with a lot of our leaders, so-called leaders. But then again, it's like the climate, the environment was far different before social media now, because it used to be with right-wingers, they could say a lot of stuff, but like they didn't have to do it in practice. They didn't have to follow through, because you could be like, oh, the colleges are this and we're so weak, and but we're the true America, everything, our enemies are both weak and strong. And one big thing is like colleges, like, oh, don't go to college, it's a scam, they're brainwashing you. Meanwhile, all the people saying that are like Harvard, Yale graduates, their kids are going to Yale, right. But then like you have this whole generation of people that are just dumb as hell, that believe that and then don't do that, and it's like this. And they go like, why does like everything sucks? It's like, yeah, like, the same thing with the Epstein file stuff that you brought up. You had people like Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, just talking about like, oh, we're gonna expose all this. JD Vance, the vice president, they get in and now it's crickets. And it's like, you guys said all this, you promised all this, and now you're there and you're like, well, he did kill himself.
It wouldn't be advantageous at this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thing is like I think they overpromised, because it's like with the Epstein stuff, a lot of it isn't actionable, right? That it's like, unless there's more that's hidden, which there is a lot that is hidden, and I think the stuff that is hidden isn't actionable, but it paints people in a really bad light. That's what I think, but I don't think I don't think they have like video footage of Epstein with politicians like doing satanic rituals. I don't think they have any of that, but there's references to a lot of it. There's probably emails back and forth that reference some of this stuff, and it makes people look awful, and they're kind of covering their ass. And I think that a lot of the people are trying to do that, of being like, oh, especially one guy in particular, the president, that it's like, we have to, like, he what was like 100 or 1,000 FBI agents like were put on a task to scrub through for his name specifically, and it's like, okay, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
And even
Real
with all that,
sus.
he's still referencing it more than anybody else. And it's like that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody with Trump and Epstein, because like they were best friends for decades, or at least a decade. You know, flying back and forth together, hanging out at Mar-a-Lago and in New York City, writing love letters to each other, hanging out all the time. Dude, there's more pictures of Trump and Epstein than there is with my father and me, you know? Like, it's rough, bro. I love you, Dad. Please come back with milk and cigarettes.
Well, I think it's funny, like with here in America with everything going on with the Epstein files, and then meanwhile in the UK,
They stripped
the
Andrew of everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
the former Prince Andrew, like
Hmm.
they're just like, oh, yep, sorry, dude, you're no longer a member of the royal family.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what is the equivalent to that in the United States of just stripping you of titles
Yeah,
without a crime or without like an action? That's what I'm saying. There's nothing actionable. It's like
yeah,
there might be, but they're unfortunately the call is coming from within the house. They don't want to investigate it. They don't want to do that. That's why you had in that meeting the deposition of Bondi. You had all those men and women behind her that have said that they've tried giving their testimony to the FBI that they were victims of Epstein, and none of them were ever followed through up or contacted by this Department of Justice. And maybe there might be a good reason, but if you don't even address it, how can we know? And it should be addressed. Like you guys made a huge stink about this, got elected, you promised all this great stuff, and you didn't follow through on it, because at the end of the day, like, it makes your dude look bad.
yeah.
And it's not this whole like, oh, this is a one giant party cabal thing, because the Democrats voted for it unanimously. They were like, we're getting this through. And they shut down the government and kept, not the Democrats, the Republicans would not, out of yours, no, sorry, it was out of Arizona. The representative, I forget her name, but she would have been the tie-breaking vote to force the vote on Epstein, the Epstein files. They would not swear her in during the shutdown, even though they've done it before. They would not do it for her. They're like, oh no, we're shut down, we can't swear her in. So that was like, okay, the moment they reopened the government, they swore her in. That's when they voted on the Epstein files to be released. And it was like, so it's not this like both sides thing. That I feel like a lot of people with the Epstein stuff in particular like get so disengaged, and I don't know. I don't have any faith in a lot of Republican politicians right now. Even the ones I used to like, I'm like, dude, you guys are. It's when within the next 20 years, right? I think we can realistically say in the next 20 years, the president will probably pass away. And it'll be a tragic day, because so many Republicans are going to starve because they can't sustain themselves on his cum anymore. And they're going to have no source of nutrition. And it's going to be awful. There's going to be widespread, just starvation and famine, Lindsey Graham, is going to wither away and just go. It's going to be sad. I'm sad for that, It'll be like, oh, sorry. It's sad that the factions have gotten so bad that sides have to be chosen. That's I guess. But the fact that the sides to me are so obvious, like there's like no overlap anymore. Like there's certain things, like I feel like 20 years ago, talking to a Republican or Democrat, you can agree on the goal, right? The goal is this. Like the goal is to have, like what we started off at the beginning of the podcast saying, the goal is to have American people have a satisfying life of work, rest, family, love, spirit, all that, right? That's the goal. How do we get there is the question. That's the difficult part. And like we share that goal, but now it's like we can't even acknowledge the other side shares that goal. It's the other side are demons, they're pedophiles, they're groomers, they're this, they're that, they're communists, they're fascists. It's like this whole blur of demonization. And then whatever group you're in, it's like, oh yes, like some people think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk is like the funniest thing ever, and like celebrate it. And there's a group of people that think it's like he was like a martyr like Jesus. It's like, okay, like this is insane, like there is a crazy thing here that like we have to have some overlap as a people and like talk about these issues. It can't be this, and unfortunately it comes from the top down, and I don't know, man. People just need to call your representative, man. To demand, like, get read up on stuff. Call your representative. Unfortunately, all three of my representatives started ghosting me, except
My
for
representative.
they send me
I tried.
their campaign stuff all the time, though. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm in the. I tried to call my representative just a couple months ago, and the number he provided me isn't even in service. So I called Capitol Hill,
Mm,
and I was like, "Hey, my senator is so and so. I'm from this district, and
mm-hmm.
blah 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 blah. I just wanted to let him know the phone number on his, pamphlets
It's
is out of
wrong.
service." Never got anything back, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Master Liberty says that doesn't erase the truth of commonality, but rather expose the propaganda that the parties feed their base. But again, I don't. What is the? So this is where it's like the both sides, where it's like the meme, where it's like one side, side A, there's like 3 marks, the other side there's like 60, and it's like both are bad. It's like, and I know you're not saying that, Master Liberty. I know where you're coming from, and you and I agree on almost everything politically. I feel like, but the propaganda that's being fed, like there isn't like a someone that was like 3 years ago, like, yes, Joe Biden, I'm getting your message. I will go commit violence. Yes, Joe Biden. Like, dude, the guy was just like, oh, come on, Jack, you can't be shucking and joking. You gotta whip when you nay nay. It's like, dude, Joe Biden is not radicalizing anybody. He's
Right.
um so yeah, but it's like people are kind of radicalized by a lot of the shit. And don't get me wrong, there is some politicians on the left that are definitely going to be radicalized by people and already have, and there's going to be more of that in the future. Unfortunately, what happened to the Republican Party with the Tea Party movement, I see that happening with the Democrats, where it's like there isn't this vehement. There's a little bit, but there's not this vehement rejection of populism. A lot of it is like being welcomed in, and I don't like that. And it's like, pretty soon there's just gonna be no one. I don't know. I'm not gonna get all doomer. I think it's gonna be fine. I think the American people will pull together, and our spirit
everything's gonna be fine.
That's the greatest conspiracy theory, is that everything's gonna be okay. But no, yeah, it's insane, man. My biggest thing, I really want to pull someone that's like really right wing in here, or even left wing. So I have a friend that's like a communist, that I met, that he was curious about it, but like he's worried. Personally, he's like, he's worried about retribution or whatever. Like if people find out who he is, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like people online can be pretty awful, but I don't know. I'm immune, or at least somewhat immune, to a lot of the stuff. I still try to maintain neutrality, even if the parties are lopsided. The union relies on at least one commonality to maintain cohesion. Okay, dude, just get your big words out of here. No, but I totally agree. It's like the only time I've ever been shook from something online was Trump's former campaign manager reached out to me to call me a liar. And that was the one time I was like, oh, this is kind of weird, Like there's this person who's like real, who's messaging me that I've done research on. This guy's like insulting me. And to me, that was the only time I've ever been like shook from something like that. But I remember he ended up blocking me because I sent him his court documents where he lied. But that was fun. But yeah, man, I know. Like, what would you say is like, even not even politics, but like, what's going on with you, man? Like a big interest of yours. We didn't even talk about gaming or anything like that. Are you still running your YouTube channel? Or I think I see.
Yeah,
I think I see your shorts every now and again.
Yeah. So I've been collecting them up. and I gotta put them out. But yeah, yeah, I've been yeah, man, I just been existing, you know, been existing. Yeah, I had a couple of contracts prior years, lasted a few months, and now I'm just yeah, I'm just
What kind of contract
enjoying my
work do you do?
home. Well, I did aircraft maintenance a couple years ago. I was doing some aircraft maintenance again. But it was far from home, so that got taxing for the family and for me.
Yeah.
Same thing last year. I went out to um another area and worked there for some time. And then so my father had a stroke in November.
Oh, I'm sorry to
Yes,
hear that, man.
he's
Jeez.
yeah, it's okay. He's recovering, he's doing better these days. And he's still in a wheelchair and stuff, but yeah, it was definitely life-changing. And was able to move him closer to me, so I'm able to like go see him, every now and again and help him out, whatnot. And then my mom just well, I helped her move last year, but she had to move from that apartment again this year because it had like flooding issues and water issues and whatnot. So
Hmm.
went and did the same thing this year and helped her just a few weeks ago move into another apartment. And she's over there in DC actually with my sister. That's where they live at. So I didn't get a chance when I was there this time to go kind of like sightseeing. I did want to go see like, the Capitol and stuff because I've actually never seen it in person.
Yeah, same.
Even though I
I've never
lived
been
in New
that far
York and stuff.
north.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I thought
Oh man,
about
you guys have got to
probably
go.
sometime that my that I go to visit my mom and sister, we'll go see that and visit. But
Yeah, I'm not one of them
yeah,
Yankees,
man.
dude. I'm
Walk
Johnny
the
Red.
mall.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just chilling, man. Just been chilling. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to
Well,
say, and if this is a bit too like personal or whatever, that's fine. It's just a compliment. Because I got my old Facebook got banned. So I'm no longer friends with your spouse, your wife, your partner. When I was friends with her, I always was really glad to see stuff because like I always felt like she was one of the few genuine, this may sound kind of same, like genuine Christians, like someone that is actually like devoted to the faith and like reading it and like getting involved and like understanding it. I always like really like that about her because a lot of the times when talking to people about Christianity, people are very just like, oh, I'm spiritual. It's like, okay, like what the fuck does that even mean? Like she like engages with a lot of it, and I'd see a lot of the stuff she would say, and I was like, you know what, that's awesome, and I'm really happy for you guys. But unfortunately, I'm no longer
thank you.
friends with her, so
Yeah.
yeah, now I have to hate her because we're not
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, but no, I just wanted to say, like, I mean, if you want to tell her that,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. Because I think she
Yeah.
should
I'll
know that
let her know.
she's a really kind, genuine person that I feel like truly attempts to carry out the faith. Um, but that's coming from an atheist, so whatever that's worth. Um,
Yeah. Thank you for your kind words. She is a blessing. She is the
mhm,
blessing in my life. She is. But yeah, our relationship is wonderful.
mhm,
Wonderful. We've been married for a long time, and yeah, that's when I say I'm chilling. That's what I mean. We're just enjoying our time together.
mhm,
Yeah, especially now more that the kids are older, we get a lot more time to just be a couple. And
yeah,
it's beautiful when you've been with someone for so long that you get to watch them grow and they change over the years a little bit, but like
mhm,
and you both change in like these ways that like okay, you're not who you were when you were teens, right? But like your love for that person is even stronger because you just love them uh as a person for their very being. It's not about, what their profession is or what this and that, right? You're just
mhm.
their energy, is what you love being around. So
Yeah, one thing that
yeah,
really upset me
she's
about
wonderful.
um, when talking about like religion and
Yeah.
family and all that was how so many people on the right side, I guess, I'm sure you've heard of Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that like have these like very awful points of view when it comes to masculinity and women, and
Yeah.
but it did really. People are like, well, who's a good male role model then? And like, I think that's a good question. Like, there's not a whole lot of that I can think of like someone that like really is generally trying to talk about men and their role in like a family and stuff like that. And unfortunately, like there is people hungry for that, and there is like a hunger for that. Um, which I think that it's like and it's funny because like I hold a lot of views that would probably be considered sexist or misogynistic. But it's like to me there is like a role of like what it means to be like a man and upholding that. And unfortunately, this vacuum of I've seen young men just like go into this whole thing where it's like this faux or fake protectionism and protector thing of like women that is like insane to me, and really depressing. That it's like and to think that like there's some sort of um, quality in being a womanizer, and um, for the big thing also is like I'm curious how my perspective may change now that I have a daughter, and like seeing that, but like I don't think it will change a lot personally, but it might. But like I think that like it is a partnership. It's like marriage, and you should have like there's like a coherent great thing, and not just like the superficial thing about women. They're like, oh, women are great because they can cook next to the stove when they don't wear their shoes and they have babies, and that's beautiful. like like truly, like that's just one tiny thing about it. And like, I mean, it's great, right? Childbearing and all that, but like that's not what, even historically, like a lot of great things that women have brought to the table. And this like unfortunately just like shitting on women and men that don't fulfill like some sort of weird niche, I guess. Like that's like depressing to me. And I don't know, man. It's like this. So I was thinking about this today, where it was like, or not today. I was thinking about this a couple days ago. I was on a walk by myself, and I was thinking about men and women in history, and their kind of like different pillars, like two pillars holding up society, and that like I feel like women have been this like important uh banner holders of culture, that like they hold up so much history and culture that like traditionally, like if you had men that would have to go fight and die in a war or something like that, like there was still this like continuation and raising of the next generation, like they're like this fostering, and even past like childbirth, this sort of like wisdom, that cultural wisdom and familial wisdom, and that is like constantly passed down. Um and like we're in a point now where it's like the qualities that societally as men that we've built up aren't enough anymore. That like to be a desirable man isn't just to have a good job and be able to provide. Like there has to be a lot more there, and like grappling with a lot more things, like because feminism's come a long way, that women unfortunately have rights and can vote. And I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's not unfortunate. I think it's great.
Wow.
But it's like this like continue, like this is like a great thing. And like, but like that means like women have stepped it up and men haven't. And it's like this, but there has to be an honest conversation about that on both sides. It's like, hey, like what it means to be a woman now is kind of changed, and you're not going to have this traditional man if you're not a traditional woman. And if you're a traditional man, you're not going to get, if you're not a traditional man, you're not going to get a traditional woman that you're seeking, you know? Like, you want to sit there and find a loyal person who wants to be a traditional wife, homesteading and home rearing and raise kids, and that's what they want to do. They really desire that, but like, you're partying in the club, trying to sleep with a bunch of random people, and doing a bunch of drugs, and you don't even like go to like church. It's like you're probably not gonna find it, you know. And same thing for, you know, women that are seeking a certain type of spouse. It's like your environment is what's gonna really dictate that. And not to put down any lifestyles, but it's just like being realistic about it. And I don't know, man. I'm saying a lot and not saying anything at all. But it's just like my thoughts of like this whole unfortunate like schism between men and women in America, and like this there has to be acknowledgement of gender differences, right? Like, as a white dude and there's a black dude, there is like, other than like our differences are skin deep, like everything else, like we're two dudes, you know. Like there's not much difference in like race, but like between women and women, like that is a big schism. There's a lot there. And like, you know, physicality and even like, I mean, I don't even know if this is true, but like maybe there is even like a like different parts of the brain of like or ways of thinking are more common with men or women. And it's like I'm not
That's
a
what they
scientist.
say.
I mean, probably. I mean, I don't know, but it's like that's like they're like, and one thing I saw, the Artemis thing on Master Liberty's thing, is like that's so cool to me. This woman, she's the first woman to go past the moon, you know, and like to me, like that's incredible and that's awesome. And there needs to be praise of these people without this like negative attention on the opposite, right? It's one thing to be pro Xbox, like you like the Xbox, but people would always like, if you liked Xbox, it means you had to hate the PlayStation. You know, there has to be like like people
you can
have to
build
acknowledge.
something up without tearing something down.
Yeah, yeah. Like there can't. Like I think it's great. Like this whole I on Instagram, there's an Instagram reel of this one of the astronauts on the Artemis 2 is a black man, and like a 12-year-old or a young black lady, she or child, you know, she gets on the mic and she's like, what were the difficulties you had as a black man or anything like that to be the first black man to do this? And the comments were shitting on this poor little girl. I remember being like, dude, like that's I get like there's this immediate sense of like you feel like you're being attacked or something, but it's like we need to be able to acknowledge like this is monumental and this is going to be monumental for some people, and that's okay. And we can praise these things while acknowledging that like it's, hey, like this is a great thing for some people. Like it's called like the Scully effect, I think, where there was a ton of little girls in the 90s that saw the X-Files that grew up to be FBI agents. Like there was like a huge increase over those times. It was like you see these people achieving something great and like being praised, and it is like a general good thing. And but that needs to be said without putting down other people. And unfortunately, when you have these conversations, it doesn't get said a lot, because you have a lot of like do you remember the "It's Okay to Be White" campaign? Did you hear about this?
I never heard about it.
So it was a thing in college campuses where it was like a right-wing thing on like 4chan, where they're like, hey, go to your local thing on billboard, bulletin boards, whatever, and put up a sign saying "It's okay to be white." This was like 2017, 2018. And the whole thing about it was watch people get freaked, like so angry about it. Like, this is racist, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, you have like all these appreciation things, but like, it's okay to be white. And like, I'm not trying to say like the racist dog whistle thing, but it's like, that should have just been met with like, yeah, you're right, okay. And you move on. Like, yeah. Sure. Cool, dude. But like when you meet it with like this vehement anger, it's like you do create an other. You do create a group of people that feel angry and
right, that idea that because you said this,
mhm.
you're tearing down everybody else. Like,
And
you know,
unfortunately, like humans are sensitive, dude. Like we can't be able to internalize these things like with like the super great like understand like yeah, you know, like when I was a kid growing up in Arizona and we have a bunch of kids saying like how they hate white people because of like the Mexican American War or something, and like they're gonna take it back one day and stuff like that. Like as a kid, I wasn't sitting there like, you know what, like it's just some like anger that is like probably passed down generation upon generation about something. Like they probably don't even truly mean that. It's just, you know, there's this whole context to it, and I didn't feel that at all. I was like, fuck these people, dude. You're like, what do you have against me? I didn't do any of this shit. Fuck you. And like, it made me very angry
good
as a
luck.
young man.
Come and take it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's
Mhm.
like this whole, but it's like, you know, but I got older, had a lot more experiences to be like, okay, like there's more to this game. And unfortunately, like, dude, people get dug in, and like we're social creatures, man. And unfortunately, like these things
Mhm.
take hold and become in these groups, you know, with men and women, uh, whites and Mexicans, you know, like
Confederates and Yankees.
right. Like it feels like an attack. A praise of one thing can feel like an attack on another, and like that needs to go. And God, whatever. I don't. There's probably no way to do it, artificially. Like, it has to be organic, but it's like this um, beautiful thing where culturally we just need to be praising each other more and like coming from
Mhm.
Yeah.
a better understanding and like.
Except Confederate. Never.
Well, no, I mean more of like in praising each other in terms of things that you can't change about yourself, you know,
Yeah.
and like and being understanding of that is like it is a great accomplishment that for Artemis 2 this woman accomplished all this, like that is cool, you know. Okay, that's cool.
Mhm.
It's and if anyone's like gets weird about it, like yeah, this is why women are the fucking best. It's like, okay, you're a weirdo, move on. And also, if someone gets like, why are we praising this woman? Like, men did this too. It's like, okay, like kind of a weirdo. Like we can move on. You know, like you don't need to engage with that.
Right.
That
It's like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christina.
Yeah,
No,
you go
speak
ahead.
speak over her. Yeah, you do that, dude. Let's.
I need to step away for a moment, so I will be right back.
Put me
We're
in my
probably
place.
gonna end it
Put me
soon.
in
I
my
know
place.
I'm just ranting because I don't know if
Oh.
there's something more that you wanted to like put out there, Angela.
Well,
but
I had something for Angelo that because you mentioned he's a YouTube
yes, I want you to
Yes.
plug that as well.
and but I can ask when you come back if you've got.
Oh no, it
something.
could wait. It could wait. No, it's okay. It's not urgent. Well, my mother-in-law, she never messages me, and she said a package was delivered for my wife. I'm not sure on how important this package is. Like if
probably
it's,
pretty important.
I don't know what it is. It could be
also-
chocolate,
it's
something that
also-
could melt or something. So yeah, I gotta go check.
Anyway.
So give me like a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Tomorrow's Mother's Day. You gotta be, you know, on top
Yeah.
of it.
But like you were saying, like you can praise one without the other. That immediately made me think, and you could make all the jokes you want, but when Kanye West, had that farm and he's got the land in Cody, Wyoming, and he brought his dad out there, and he's like, "Oh, how big is this?" And Kanye West says, "Oh, it's 4,000 acres." And his dad looks at him and goes, "A black man?" And it's like that, say, like, oh yeah, plenty of people have owned 4,000 acres, but for to his dad, for a black man to do that is something significant. And yeah, sure, we've been to the moon, we've been outside the moon, and for a woman to get to do it,
Mhm.
it is a milestone.
Mhm.
And eventually it'll become commonplace, right? We're sitting there when we're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like
that.
it should
Like
be the
Kanye
point where
West.
we're like, if someone, it becomes weird that it's like, why are you bragging about that? Like everyone does that.
Right?
You
Yeah.
know,
Like
like
I've been.
yeah,
I'm fat and I've been to the moon as well.
yeah, like that's
That should be the norm.
this but it gets difficult. It gets more difficult, I feel like, with gender than it does race because of there is actual differences that are meaningful. And
Mm-hmm.
that to me is like it's definitely a lot more difficult. But I one thing I will say, the women that are always saying that women need to be in the kitchen, those women don't tend to not shut the fuck up. Like Candace Owens and um, Mrs. Kirk, like God, dude, they just you guys write this book about making women be in the homestead, raising kids, and listening to their husband.
But
It's
they're
like,
not at home.
yeah, it's like you guys don't shut the fuck up about it. Like, god damn.
They're not practicing what they're preaching, but what
Mhm.
they're preaching can be detrimental to the mental health of a lot of women that
Yeah.
might want to be stay-at-home moms but feel shame for it because they have more opportunities now. There is a lot of shame within just the female world from other females, like we were talking about the other day. With there's no one more hateful than a mom
Yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah.
another mother.
I love you, baby.
The judgment is insane. But with the whole conversation, it brings me back to something that came up during the Black Lives Matter movement, and it was the bean soup theory. And it came from TikTok, and it was somebody that was making a bean soup on TikTok. And there were so many comments saying, but I don't like beans. How can I make this without beans? Maybe, just maybe, the soup isn't for you. And you can just keep scrolling. You can appreciate it and move on. It's not it and it comes down to so many other comments of, hey, a woman made it past the moon. A woman made it further in space than anybody ever could have imagined so many years ago. You don't have to have any deeper comment if you don't understand it, if it's not for you. Just move on.
When it comes
Just
to when it comes to like especially positive things, I agree with you. The
yeah,
problem is when you start getting into like negatives, and people need to
correct,
be very
correct.
careful about their wording when it comes to negatives.
Yeah,
Because
I
it'll
fully
be
agree.
like you'll see like men are rapists or something like that, and it's like, okay, you got to be like, a lot of men, most men are reading that and be like, well, fuck you, I'm not a rapist. That's not all men, whatever, the not all men thing. And it's like,
Right.
Yeah,
because we can't expect people to be these like hyper intelligence, can internalize all their feelings and make it make sense and be coherent about every little thing. We can't expect that of people, and just like being um, more human to each other, and just like
yeah,
understanding where people are coming from, and
Be better dudes.
be better people. Yeah, be
yeah.
better dudes, and just and be better women. And just help each other, and just not like we're all like interconnected, man. Like we're all from the
We're
same space
all
dust,
cut
dude.
from the same
We're all from the
cloth.
same Gaia.
Yeah.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I feel it gets weird to me because like I'll have conversations with people, be like, it's like I won't hold open a door for a man, but I'll hold open a door for a woman.
No.
That's like how I was raised. That's what I do, and or like so like a common thing like picking up a tab. You take a woman out for a date. As a man, you pay.
Never.
You never.
Mhm.
But I think
Take
that's
me out to dinner.
like I think that like hey like that's still kind of that's how I'm gonna raise my son, and that's how I was raised, and I think that most women like appreciate that, and that will like it's one thing to be like, well, there shouldn't be some sort of like societal obligation or anything like that, but it's like it is nice, and that people do respect, and generally would like someone that exhibits or performs these like maybe would be considered outdated gender roles.
It's just chivalry, you know,
Well, right, but it's
I
like
guess.
this, yeah, chivalry, exactly, chivalry, but it's like that in of itself is sexist. But like
Right.
you're treating someone differently based on their gender, and it's like But
Well,
it's like I'm okay.
see,
Like that's to me, it's like sexism or there is differences, and we probably should interact with each other a little bit differently depending on the circumstances, or be open to um, discussing these things and um, sensitive of each other, and like trying not to offend and trying not to be offended at the same time, like working with each other as humans, dude. Just being people.
And man,
yeah.
Mordecai, she doesn't want this for us.
Mm-hmm. All right, you wanted to ask Angelo something.
Yeah, as a content creator and a father, and Troy, I'd be willing to bet you can chime in on this. I know I've brought it up once or twice, but uh, we were talking about algorithms and the YouTube algorithm. When I watch stuff that my nephew watches, it'll start on like, oh yeah, Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the algorithm and the way that it's put together, like this content that was created for a child, because I mean, kids on YouTube is a great demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then I see things, that my nephew watches, and the content is the game is like aimed at a child, potentially, but the content on the video, there's like some, young adult or teenager or whatever, like cursing and screaming and making jokes about, mass murder and this thing and that thing. Uh, do you think that there's a problem with the YouTube algorithm? Since we were talking about like Reddit, and as someone with a vested interest in it, how do you feel about the way your content propagates and things like that?
So to understand the question, so are you saying how do I feel my content is being out there and being like what I feel about what I'm putting out there, or like what my kids are
It,
seeing?
yeah, not necessarily about your content, but just
Oh,
like content created,
yeah,
for
as a
kids.
content creator, yeah.
Yeah, in the
So I
way.
don't I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think so I have I talk to kids all the time, right? And we are very involved with what they're doing on their phones and stuff like that and in
Mm-hmm.
their computers, you know what I'm saying? And we have a lot of conversations and we pick their brains. We want to know where they feel about certain things, certain topics that they're just, as a result of having the internet are going to be exposed to, right? Whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
And as a parent, I feel like it's important to do that, to engage with them, to understand, like, because like say they're seeing the same, they're being exposed to the same thing that you're being exposed to. And I was actually kind of like had an epiphany about this the other day, actually, because I was like, my daughter, she's 13, she has very strong opinions on things that I did not think about when I was her age. And then I was like, but the way social media is now, it's not that way I didn't have the internet at her age, because I had the internet. I
It's
remember
not the
being her
same.
age and
Yeah, it's not the
playing.
same.
Yeah, I remember being
Yeah,
her age and playing like just wanting to go online, AOL, and like you surf the web and just like play my games
yeah,
online and stuff. The
Mm-hmm.
birth of online gaming, and
Flash games.
it was a very different.
right.
It was
Flash
yeah,
games,
was a very
battle.net,
different space.
and
Yeah, Battle.net and stuff. Yeah, like Blizzard and like when they first came out, and just like it was very different to what it's evolved into now.
Yeah.
And so I'm having to learn how to navigate the same waters as an adult that my kids are navigating now as they're upbringing. And so, my parenting style is a lot like my leadership style was. I just keep it real, and I tell them what it is and how the world is. And um, I try to tell them in a way that's not as terrible as some things are, or trying to explain to them like any parent does, like to be mindful of this, to watch out for this, this is a danger and things of that, and avoid these things, and teaching them right from wrong. Because it is very hard to shelter them from these things. She'll come out and say things, and I'm like, where did you hear that? And then I'm thinking, and it's funny that you asked me this question, because um this is a worry I have a lot, and more with her, because she's just very strongly opinionated on things, which is good. She's a lot like me. My older daughter and my son they're more laid back, more chill about things. They have strong opinions, but they're not as strong about like
Like
displaying them
voicing
the
them.
way the way my younger daughter is. So we tend to get into these conversations, and I'll have to break it down for her. She'll say something like about Trump, and I'm not saying, well, he's a good guy, this and that, there's whatever, but it's like, where did you hear that? And how do you have that opinion when you don't know anything about this, what's going on? And in the way that I know you don't, because you're a kid, but you're being exposed to certain ideas in a certain way. And so that's just what she's going off of, right? And so as a parent, I have to navigate that. I say, whoa, listen, like, but all I can say, like, do your research, understand fully everything about something, don't just let people tell you how to think, not even me, like I've taught my kids from a young age to question everything, because I don't know. I've just been around a little bit longer than you have, but the world and everything that's been going on has been going on a lot longer than anyone's been alive. And so I'm coming into this kind of just learning like you are. And, like, sometimes she says things that makes me like think like, wow, like that. I looked at that like, like, that's interesting. And so now I have this person who I love and care about, my own flesh and blood, who's like, that I would die for, and may have a different opinion about something than I do. And for me,
She
that's
challenges you
enlightening.
to think, even though she's younger.
Yeah, and it's enlightening, because I'm like, wow, like, you really can learn things from anyone. And that's because I have an open mind, so I welcome that exchange of ideas. I don't It's not just what I say goes, this is my house, and no, I have provided a home for this family, for this unit to flourish in, to operate in. But I'm not I'm a facilitator, I'm a caretaker. I'm not some sort of tyrant and this and that. Now, there are rules, right? But those rules are rules that I hold myself to too. They're rules that keep order and stuff. It's not to have control over anyone like that. It's
Right.
just, yeah. So
Do you think, as like a content creator, and like it's proving beneficial, where you can have these conversations with your daughter, um but I would hazard to say, like, some homes aren't as open, or some children aren't as encouraged to think. And with the way that the algorithm on YouTube can move things, do you think that content creators have a responsibility when they are directing their like the people that do let's plays and stuff like that, like things that kids are interested in? Do you think they have a responsibility to like curate their content for their audience? And what I mean by that is, like, you'll listen to like someone like Markiplier, and I love Markiplier. I think he's a great content creator, but he'll mention something about, like, he'll be talking about Trump, or something like that, and I don't know if he ever has. I haven't heard it, but talking about politics and knowing that young children are watching you. Do you think they have a responsibility to kind of tidy up their act and make it so that they're not forcing these strong ideas on children who may not know better?
I think that's a really good question, because, like, on one hand, you're not really like responsible for who's going to engage your content, right? You're putting out content, and I think sometimes what a lot of times may happen is someone puts out content, and I could attest to this. Like when I put my content out, it's the audience that I have in mind is this. It's kind of like I guess you could say like faceless, because I'm not thinking of people. I'm thinking of like, first of all, I don't aim it towards kids, right? I
Mhm.
aim it towards people like me, adults who game and stuff and just find humor and stuff. And like, yeah, it's not really bad or anything like that. I curse sometimes or whatever, yeah, but um it's not intended for like it's just intended to be funny. There's no like, for my content, other than that, it's just I'm trying to make people laugh or
Mhm.
haha, like this guy's getting frustrated with this or whatever, or says something stupid or something funny happened. So that's my niche audience that I'm kind of aimed for. But someone who doesn't even like playing video games may find me funny. They might just like watching me, right? The same way I am not going to become a blacksmith, but I love watching those videos where they take a fucking
Right.
piece of a railroad and turn it into a fucking sword or something. And I'm like, I think that's amazing. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go out and do that ever, right? But I like watching it. So I think it shows the complexity of humans and how we can be drawn to something, but we don't have interest in like participating or just like watching it, right? Just like viewing it. That's a weird thing, because like my wife likes to watch this dude cleaning rugs.
Mhm.
Weirdest freaking thing, right? Cleaning rug, but that's her
It's
thing. It's
satisfying,
like
dude.
cool.
It's
Yeah, it's
satisfying.
Yeah.
satisfying for her. The same way I
That's
like
why
watching a
power
guy.
washing
Yeah,
simulator.
yeah. Listen, I like watching a guy build a shed or something like that, right? Or use tools. And like I'm learning as I'm watching in my second screen. I'm like, oh wow, it's kind of teaching me because I'm learning things I didn't learn growing up, on YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm digressing. I think that as a creator, I personally do uphold myself to a certain responsibility. Like maybe it depends on your content, because I'm not trying to put out content that's meant to influence people in any way,
Mhm.
right? Even if it accidentally does influence them. And I can't say that I'll never do that, or that my content can't evolve into that, because it may.
Mhm.
Um, right now, I'm in a space where I've thought about that for a long time. I've been on and off with like putting YouTube content out there, right? And I personally came to the conclusion that the content I want to make, I don't want it to be tied to any um, political view or any type of viewpoint or anything, because I feel like there's so much of it in a way that I'll put it to you like this. I don't feel like I should be guiding people in that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the
Right.
same way when I say, and I used to have this problem with churches, right? We were part of this church, and they would have young people who were like preaching or just saying things, and I'm like, yeah, that's great and all, but like I don't feel like you're in a position to really teach people. You need to just absorb the word. You need to like absorb, like it's great that you're excited about it and everything. Yes, cool. And I think the internet makes that too easy for people, right?
Mhm.
To just say like, this is what I think, and and you may say it because you want people to be on your side, or you may just put something out there and people just naturally are drawn to your content, right? um I don't have a really good answer for that, other than, parents, we have to police our children, and we have to educate them, and we have to there's naturally going to be some bias there based on how we feel, right, but we just do the best we can to kind of help them operate in this space where they're going to be exposed to like a lot of information. And even me on a daily basis feel very overwhelmed, like what am
Mhm.
I supposed to do with all this information? I mean, we're getting
Yeah.
it at such a rapid rate in a way that's unprecedented for generations before us,
Yeah.
and so
Even when we
we're
were
having to
kids.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you're having to think about a lot more every day than someone did, 200 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like I said, it can be troublesome when I hear certain things and I'm like, wait, who told you that, or what? Where did you learn that? And I have to then step
yeah.
in and like, you know, um, like this is a problem we had with like the school, and we had to take my daughter out of school because we had her in private school. We had her in homeschool. We were homeschooling her for years. Then she said she wanted to go to public school. We sent her to public school. 2 months into being into public school, she was I don't know, she was going through stuff. She's a young teenage girl, right? And she's going through things. Not to get too personal, but she was frustrated with, like, we're very easygoing, right? But she was going through this episodic point in her life where she was just very like extreme about things in a way that was like unhealthy, and she told like we didn't even know, she went and talked to a counselor at school, and then basically said like, you know she said the wrong thing, and they thought like, oh, like something was wrong in the home or something like that, and we're like,
Yeah.
what? Like, are you insane? Like, and my issue was the way that the school handled things, in the way that my daughter told me that her counselor at school said she could have a journal that she keeps there, and like, we don't know about it, that she could write down how she feels and this and that. And I was like, no, fuck no. Like, this is my kid, all right? It's not, you don't, another adult tell my kid, how to, like, what's allowed and this and that. That's my responsibility. And so I tell that story to say that it's the same for with what your kids are viewing on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, what they're being exposed to is like, you have a responsibility to teach them what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I wanted to say I completely disagree. Just kidding. No, I agree with some of that. I disagree with the last, or some of what you said. I agree that like with the overall thing that like a content creator doesn't really have a responsibility, but this takes me back to like create their content and whatever, because it's gonna go where it's gonna go, and it is the parents. Right. The parents should be the ones that like watch what their children watch. Like, my son doesn't have a tablet, he doesn't have a phone.
Turn that off.
Yeah, so I like, he likes to watch YouTube, of course, like Minecraft videos. I limit it because like I'm not like, oh, everything needs to be educational, whatever. Like, dude, I watch brain rot shit all the time. Yeah, okay, you get 30 minutes of brain rot if you do certain things, throughout the day, as reward, But there was one day he was really disappointed because he tried doing something on Minecraft and it was fake. And he was like, why would they just lie? Because he tried to do Minecraft, it wasn't working, he was really upset. I was like, if something is free, you are the product. If you're like, their whole thing is just to get you to watch. That's it. Like, and knowing that information and going forward with that is like so useful. But what I will say, so I agree with you that like, as parents, we have to be on top of this shit. The other side of this is most parents fucking suck, dude. Most parents are
kind of what I was driving at.
Yeah, most parents suck. Like, even your counselor thing, dude. I totally get why the counselors have that journal thing for these kids, because if you're a kid in an actually rough situation, dude, you'd be so terrified.
I guess that was, but for me that was like so mind-boggling, because my kids haven't, like, they know now, right? But I used to say this all the time. I'm like, you hit the fucking jackpot with parents. Like, you have no idea like how fucking chill your mom and I are. Like, yes, we're like, yes, we have rules and things we stand on, right? But like, we're not forcing like any crazy like thing on you, right? Like I like letting my kids like just be kids, right? Because I'm like, it's such a short time in your life. You're gonna be an adult dealing with the same bullshit we all got to deal with for a lot longer that you're alive than you do to get to be a kid, and just kind of like,
chill,
not worry about shit. Mom and dad's got it. Yeah. So yeah, I tell them that all the time. So that's why I was like really like thrown back and blown away by that experience. And I didn't mean to like even bring that up. I'm high, so like,
well,
I'm an honest person.
We can end
I'm
here.
honest as it is.
If you want to plug your channel, go. This is your time to do it. I mean, there's no one watching, but in case someone does, I'm sorry, man.
Right now.
This is a
just Google the Rage Wolf and you will find. what I don't really rage anymore. You know, I'm a lot
He's the high
more
wolf.
calm.
He's the tranquil
Yeah,
wolf. El
yeah,
Lobo Tranquilo is him.
yeah. I like that Lobo Tranquilo. Maybe I'll make that my tag or something.
Well, wouldn't it be Tranquilo Lobo? Would it be? I don't know. Whatever.
I have no idea, but